yes, there's always going to be scum in this industry. I hate to say it. It just has too easy of a barrier to enter. You know, there are states where you can just have a heartbeat in a truck, and as long as you can go acquire the first job and put that job up, you're in roofing. Right? And like, if you're just constantly seeking the objective truth, you know, where can you really be found doing wrong in that situation? If that's your end goal, is the objective truth, if you're always seeking objective truth, it's hard to be wrong. It's hard, like, that's nearly impossible. So, which, by the way, what a fucked up concept. Like, what else in life would you go to for amateur night? Could you imagine if the best restaurant in town had amateur chef night? Who would show up for that?
Bro, we went in Salt Lake
strip clubs,
City.
Amateur night. You know, like, oh, yeah. You know, like, just the thing, like, where else is amateur night gonna fly? Growth is found at the edge of your comfort zone, right? Like that's a big one. Like, if you are never willing to get to the edge of your comfort zone, your ability to grow or expand is almost zero, right? If the perception is that is an eyesore, that's a problem, that's an issue, I want that fixed, I don't like the way that looks. When you start affecting perceived value of a home, there's a good chance you affect real value of a home. If this was available during COVID, this would have been my mask.
I was about to say, it depends on if you tell people.
Sir, I need you to keep your mask on. I need you to put a better mask on, right? Like,
that would be awesome.
God.
That would be so funny.
This is just my helmet I wear in case I fall off roofs. My mom makes me wear it. I get it. It's dorky. Not a lot of people wear helmets. This is just my safety precaution. So I'm sorry. You're just going to have to bear with it. Okay. So
just tell me you're blocking out the 5G signal.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. This is keeping the aliens from penetrating my brain too. Like my.
Now tuned in to the best roofing podcast in the world, the Roof Trollz.
I gotta be Angela today. I gotta, take it all the way.
Oh, whoa.
No. Whoa.
Yeah, be careful with the choice of words on here.
Oh, we've been rolling.
Good. All right, Roof Trollz, baby.
Troll,
we're
hey.
back. Hey.
Oh.
So Mike Armalis makes his comeback. What has it been on? What, 4 weeks? 4, 5? Probably longer than that. How many episodes has it been since you've been on it? You don't even know.
I've been on here before.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
my first time.
Host. He's in the fucking intro, but yeah, it has been a long time. But anyway, let's move past that boring ass guest. So we have an awesome guest today that's going to be on the Roof Trollz, and I'm excited about it because not only is he appearing on the podcast today, which I've wanted him, he's on my bucket list anyway to be on here. He also is training our sales team how to be more efficient in some categories, but I'm going to pass the mic to him now, man who needs no introduction, but let's hear it, Roof Pro.
What's up, everybody? Excited to be on the podcast. Thank you for the invite. Thank you for having me come up and meet the team. Exciting day in the field, man. Anytime we get to go out and be in the field with the team and actually go through what their day is like, show them things from my career, from my history, and learn what they're experiencing day to day and figure out where those things marry and merge and what's going to make everybody better and more efficient. You know, I always learn something in the field too, from anytime I'm with a big group. The way that somebody had their process in the organization where they took photos was a little bit different. I was like, I see why they do that. So I just love being around teams. So fun, excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you. It is it's been something that we wanted to do, and that was a little bit of built up into it. So we're part of the Roof Hustlers Academy. Deshaun Bryant, as you know, Deshaun.
Yep.
And we take pride in being part of that, and I take pride in collabing as much as possible with people who are actually having an impactful, they're making impacts in the industry of which I love so much, and I'm sure you're passionate about as well. This is such a fun industry, but I think the people that are actually giving back into it and helping us mold the younger minds in here, like those are the people that we really want to, that's what we created this podcast for, was to shed light on that. And you're not a guy that needs to have light shed on him, but nonetheless, you're doing some pretty fucking cool things in the industry. So I believe in, honestly, dude, I believe into not only helping with that, but I also believe in the contributing to you guys. So like when you guys have trainings, we want to, we bring you in here because one, we want to contribute to it to keep your success going, and two, because we believe in what you're pushing out there. And there's only a few guys in the industry that we do back 100% on that, you being one of them. So yeah, man, the pleasure is all ours. It really is. But what is it that you're doing right now to dive into it. Like, what do you do with our sales team? Like, what is this that you're doing? And
Oh,
then,
that's an easy answer.
Yes, I want to know that, and then I want to know about your other company.
All right. Then let's get this. So you're part of Roof Hustlers Academy, and I think that's great. I think that every roofing company out there, they kind of choose their paths for training, education, further advancement of their teams, and those that have those trainings and courses and subscriptions, like those are the companies that are really on the front edge of things. And you have to find the style, the flavor that you like, and that's fantastic. So what I get to do when I come in on these is come in, work with your team. Oftentimes I get one day, so we really have to hone in a course. What are we going to cover in that one day? Here we had the opportunity to do 2 A's. So we're halfway through it, and that's a lot of fun. So we get to really broaden the topics that we cover, bring more knowledge to the table, and it gives us the opportunity to do a field day when we do 2 days. So we actually spent some time this morning, went through what we're going to do, what my normal process is like, how I build narratives, how I do documentation. Then we went out in the field and we actually did those steps. So they got to see it firsthand. In there, we got to just layer in several little nuggets that help advance my communication skills, my selling skills, and my overall career as I went through the roofing industry. And tomorrow we'll go right back into the office, recap things from today, drive home points, set homework, and give them other nuggets that really advance my career. Like one of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow, we'll step a little bit outside of this claim world and talk about just the general idea of referrals. I think it's an under-tapped aspect in our market. Everybody thinks they're doing referrals, but until you are over 50% referrals, you're kind of haphazardly doing referrals. So this will be fun. A whole lot of fun changing the top around tomorrow.
Here, let me add something real quick about, because I was at a mastermind group earlier today, and one of the things talking about like how this industry is getting professionalized. And I think people like yourself, Deshaun, I really think the message has gotten out there that this industry is cleaning up, because I've been in the industry for about 16 years. I mean, talking about mom, pa's, chucking at trucks, and you don't really see that as much anymore. Mm-hmm. It's really cleaned up, and I think it's just been the consistent messaging. Like one of the things I had talked about today there was about the deductible thing, how people used to just give deductibles away, give away TVs, give away everything. And again, I don't know if this is the people we surround ourselves by, but we don't really see the deductible giving away in our market anymore. So I do think, and give you guys credit for that the message that you're putting out there has helped us professionalize this industry, and it only helps us, the clients, everyone all around.
It's a good point. You mentioned collaboration, alignment, phrases like that. I think that we have become more collective. You probably remember a time just 10 years ago where, frankly, as an industry, we wanted to kill each other. Everybody was very competitive, cutthroat, hated each other. And as we saw social media platforms continue to bring us together, make us more grouped together, as we saw conferences put us all in the same room instead of just wanting to kill each other and constantly outdo each other and take deductibles and eat those and undercut prices and all these kind of things that were going on, we had more opportunities to be cohesive and around each other. And that started to create that alignment. Who do we align with? Who do we connect with? Who are we similar to? Well, within that rose up what I would call superstars in the industry. People like Deshaun Bryant. I'm not even going to put myself in that category, but look at it externally. When I look at guys like Deshaun Bryant, who, cut his teeth on the sales side of things, said, hey, I have a passion, a desire to teach this, was put on stages, and then instead of just stopping there, continued to advance his knowledge of people, mindset, motivation, public speaking skills. He goes and advances that nonstop. So he's on the leading edge of how he presents and what he presents within the industry. So again, we saw these superstars rise up, and we've all kind of picked and aligned with 1, 2, 3 of those individuals in this industry. And then that's formed these smaller groups, not just the giant Facebook groups and conference groups and things like that, of local contractors or statewide contractors that you locate and you find that alignment with. So yes, the phrase cleaning it up implies that there was a lot that needed to be cleaned up. You can use whatever phrase you want. It has gotten better, man. We're just not trying to kill each other, and There's a lot less dirty. There are some states that are still suffering with problems like vandalism and deductible issues and stuff like that. But across the industry, I've seen it get better, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I think my first event I ever went to, I think it's SRC. What's the one?
April Hall puts
April Hall put together. Yeah, I couldn't think of her name. So I went to one of those early on and met Steve Patrick. And this is like 2010, 2011. And then when we were at Mid-America, I had Steve Patrick come in and do a 2-day training with my team and everything. And I think just that message, like Steve Patrick was one I would use a lot early in, like, this is like 16, 17 back in the day. But I think that messaging is very important in you've taken that even to the next level, I think, with the whole inspecting the roof, showing people how to do it properly. I mean, you're a roof pro. Well, there's no doubt about it.
That's what I was kind of alluding to when I was talking about it. So when we make our decisions of who we're going to have come out here, who because it's a big investment, not only just for us financially, it's a big investment too, because we're trusting our entire team to be taught, by what can be considered a professional. So how do you assess that? What I think separates a lot of you guys, the ones that we use for sure, is the hands-on. So like I tell people all the time, because we get people that are like, oh, I don't know, Deshaun, yeah, I don't know, he speaks at events and all this stuff. And I know him on a personal level, like that's one of my homies, but he literally is doing it. That's why I tell people, I'm like, bro, he knocks still doors every single week in across the country in multiple states. He's physically going to take my team in the field and apply what he told them he does and let them see it in action. And that's why I was so excited when we heard when we did our call and you broke down kind of like what you do in your process. And it was like, oh, great. You're going to actually physically go on a roof with these guys. And we just can't say enough about how genuine that is, because there are so many giving advice in this industry right now that are not doing any of the things that they're giving advice on. And it's just nice to kind of weed that shit out. And you guys are doing a really great example of leading, like actually commanding from the field. And I love that.
And this industry too, and this applies to other industries, but this industry specifically, there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of variables and a lot of change that can take place. You look at Deshaun on a sales side of things. Sales is sales, but we have consumers entering the market, and how people bought 10, 15, 20 years ago versus how we buy now with phones and technology and faster information coming to us. Like you have to adapt to those changes. For me, you mentioned it, thanks. I appreciate that. Yes, I am John the Roof Pro, and that may seem like a catchy name, but I consult on projects outside of this. I go look at massive multi-million-dollar projects that need consultation on. I've consulted on projects that someone just says, hey, I think my contractor did this wrong. And I got to go in and weigh in on, yes, it was done wrong. No, it wasn't. Here's the codes. Here's the instructions. So I get to be deeply enriched in just the intimate details of how a project should be done, what is right, what is wrong. And then I get to do that throughout my month, throughout my week, throughout my year. So when I come out with your team, it's not like I'm 3 years of dust on a shelf and haven't done this when I got to go out there and do it with your team. It's why I really, really like guys like Deshaun. And I kind of modeled that idea that I need to still be doing this if I want to be relevant, constantly relevant, and not have to relearn something that changed because of all the moving pieces. And to be clear, I'm not dogging anybody who stopped what they were doing and is now teaching, but I just know that in this industry specifically, you may be missing on industry changes and trends and things that have moved around that you didn't experience in your applicable career, and now you're teaching and not aware that these things are going on. That can happen.
Well, the industry is changing all the time. I mean, just today, and don't mean to date this, but Illinois, State Farm, they have to go to appraisal now because they'd always decline appraisal.
Correct.
They'd reject it. And today there was, precedent saying that they have to go to appraisal now. They'll go to court and fight all that and everything, I'm sure, at some point. But, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. But everything changes from day to day. And being in Illinois, part of our company in Indiana, the State Farm and Allstate are homed out of there. Mm-hmm. So they beta test a lot of stuff in Illinois. Yep. So we get hit with it first, and we get to experience what they're going to try to do. This Indiana's right next door, so it bleeds over to Indiana. But I mean, yeah, that's, it changes. I mean, 6 months, it could be something completely different. So staying relevant, amazing. I mean, one thing I want to give you props for the ethical portion of it. And again, you, Deshaun, Steve Patrick, guys like that. I mean, we know people in the industry who try to talk about like being the Sky Diamonds, go to unboxing matches and get knocked out. And I mean, you just see the sleaze just pouring off of them. So it is great to just have a chance to work with you guys, because Elijah and I are very passionate about this industry and about being successful. So getting a chance to work with you, I mean, that's outstanding. And like I said, you guys are ethical, and anything we could always do to work with you guys, we're here, and hopefully we can pass it on to our people.
Thank you, man. Money and wealth and increased revenues can sometimes skew the lens you look through and what you consider to be your ethical alignment. And that's dangerous for some. And, I don't know the stories behind all those people, but I know externally there's just things I don't align with. And so I appreciate that. That's a very high compliment. That's the outward appearance that I strive to have, is that, Chris, one of my buddies in Master Your Craft, we run that program together. We constantly say this phrase, the objective truth, right? Like if you're just constantly seeking the objective truth, where can you really be found doing wrong in that situation? If that's your end goal, is the objective truth, if you're always seeking objective truth, it's hard to be wrong. It's hard, like that's nearly impossible. So yeah, man, I appreciate that.
So you said you were 16 years too, or you're just repeating what I was saying?
I'm running in 15 years now.
So you've seen a lot then how the industry's changed, and not necessarily just on our side. The perception of roofers, like the perception of roofers 15 years ago was completely different than it was now. I mean, you care to talk about that, kind of
Sure.
give your experience since you've been in the industry about as long as I have?
And I've been around construction for a while. My dad was in construction for almost his entire career. And we kind of had this phase where we phased out from using the GC, the general contractor, for everything. And we start to see more niche contracting. We start to saw the bath and kitchen remodel, then the roofers, then the exterior contractors, the add-on, so we kind of start to see this segment out. And then we start to see this boom in the storm restoration side of things. And that really helped isolate that roofing contractor. Well, then came all the bad rap with that, right? Like just the whole idea of the money grab, the put it up and run, the taking deposits and not being able to fulfill things, not local. They come in for a storm, they bang out as much as they can, they then leave town. You can't get a hold of them when there's problems. Then the industry suffered a lot of the drugs, the addicts, the alcohol, different things that have been highlighted in the industry are less visible now. And look, to each their own. If you want to use a legal product, perfectly fine, right? And that's I'm not here to judge anybody on those things. But we're not seeing those highlighted. We're seeing a lot more of the positive in the industry highlighted, a lot more of the good work highlighted, and less of those type of things spotlighted in there. Yes, there's always going to be scum in this industry. I hate to say it. It just has too easy of a barrier to enter. There are states where you can just have a heartbeat in a truck, and as long as you can go acquire the first job and put that job up, you're in roofing, and you could have little to no skill set on it. Excuse me. And it's not until you make that first mistake and go, yeah, I can't afford to fix that mistake, that harm is done. And that may have happened 10 times. It's just the first one that got caught. So the barrier to enter, and I'm going to catch heat for that comment, the barrier to enter is too easy in a lot of states.
And that's kind of how I got in though too. I mean, I didn't like my job and just had some buddies who were door knocking and went out there and started door knocking. And really all you needed was paper and sign here. And next thing you know, you're putting roofs on their house. I mean, that's how it was. I mean, it was a different industry back then, but it's changed now. I mean, back then everyone was worried that this is a scam or, like you said, vandalism. Yep. I'm surprised that's even still around, like the thoughts of the vandalism stuff. But yeah, that's what the industry was like when I first got into it. And then, I don't know, maybe like 8 years in was my company with Mid-America. I bought some leads from a company and just started running them to test them out and see what they were like. And I'm getting to the door and people are asking me where to sign before I even jumped on their roof. So like in a 7-8 year time period, it was like a full reversal. Everyone just started wanting free roofs on. Like it was kind of crazy how that happened. And
yeah, no, it definitely did. It turned quickly, and there was some backlash to that. And there's some states that have been, the industry has greatly changed because of the ease of that. But, when you got into it, there wasn't any malicious intent. There are people who get into it, don't know what they're getting into, and it ends up turning out bad.
Yeah, no, I think the changes are good though. So like it brings like a little bit of education, like you were alluding to. So even when I started, I've only been doing this for almost 9 years. So even when I started this, no one knew what we were doing through the insurance. And now it's like everybody, they almost present that themselves at the door. They're almost like, well, are we going through insurance or am I paying out of pocket? Like, so people are hip to it. But what's cool about that, in my opinion, is I'm under the opinion, and I could be wrong, but my mindset is that price doesn't matter. We already know that the shingles are going up. We know that, it is what it is. Like most of us are paying within price and the same thing. So people are looking for convenience and experience, and it's starting to separate a lot of people who have terrible follow-up, who train their guys like shit. Because we know this industry, the biggest thing that they lack is training. That's across the board. That's very noticeable right when you start in it. Most of us were probably just thrown to the wolves to learn this. I know I was given a stack of contracts by Mike even and a flashlight and said, here, aluminum pays more. It's like, all right, well, here we go then. My first year I didn't even climb on a roof. So, that's how we had to learn. So I think that now it's like you said, it's getting better because people are forced to have a good reputation. You're forced to be liked in the communities because there's a million roofers. If you're not going to be a good one, then you're going to get washed out by the next 700 that are trying to come in here. Like anybody who gives a decent experience to a customer is going to prosper right now.
Yeah, you add to that, we went from Yellow Book, trying to find a roofer in a Yellow Book, or maybe you had a friend that had some sort of information about it, to online access, to social media, to reviews, and all of those things, and the ability to have speed to get information in that decision-making process has changed greatly from the first time I ever knocked a door or sold a roof. You could tell that person you were local, and if your card had a local phone number on it, they didn't really have like a resource to go vet and check a bunch of things. And now that's completely different, which is good. I think that when someone looks at a company like y'all's and they see the time and process and the representation and the area that they cover and the reviews and the ratings and the referrals and everything else like that, all that's fast information for consumers to get now, which is great. And I like both of you got trained about the same way, right? Here's damage. Here's what we look for. Here's what you say. And I can remember coming off of a roof one time and following up, and the owner was like, well, did you find damage on there? I was like, yeah, it just wasn't enough. And he was like, you start them all. And I was like, that doesn't sound right to me. Like there has to be a threshold, right? But I remember being very, very confused by that statement, that if there's anything at all, because I wasn't even trained on just how and what and how much and when does it make sense and any of those things. And I found myself at night looking at what is drip edge, what is fascia, and really learning things, that terms I hadn't used in years, that I now, from when I was doing stuff around my dad, then I now had to be applicable, and I kind of had to relearn those things and really deeply understand how things were put together. I think it was really rare. I think I was the only one in the company who would go out and sit on the roof while the crew was installing, or feed them shingles, or install with them, or go do repairs, or go do detailed metalwork on roofs, just so I could have my hands on it and better understand how those systems were put together. I've hand-driven shake roof, like actual cedar shakes before, so I could understand how this system works. What does it actually take to put these together? And, I didn't get that as a trained method when I started. That took years to acquire all that information.
Yeah, when I first got started, it was all the same did with you guys, just chasing aluminum. A lot of the areas that I would work, the storm chasers would come in, because that was a big thing back in 2008, 9, 10. Storm chasers would come in. They would want to do the roofs and then get out. And there was still a lot of aluminum siding in Illinois. So you could follow up behind them, and they would give you the siding job. Or if you went up to a house, didn't even care. If it was aluminum siding, you were signing it. It didn't matter if it had damage or not, because back then it was like a little bit smaller. You had either local adjusters, just a couple, or you had the independents that wanted to come in and buy everything. So anytime they saw aluminum siding, your approval rates were probably like 90%. Sometimes there wouldn't even be damage on the house, but they were out there. They're like, I got to hit my certain, threshold to get my big paycheck on this one. So, find me one dent somewhere on this house somewhere, and I'm buying everything. Well, luckily, that's how it used to be.
Luckily, I had YouTube, so I know you guys probably didn't have that when you first started, but Becca taught me a lot. Deshaun taught me a lot. And then, Adam Bensman and stuff. Those are the only people on there. Taggart, before he's doing what he's doing now, when he was still writing like ABCs of closing and actually door knocking. Like, those were the people that were on YouTube. So that's all I would just sit there and watch Becca all day long. I read her book, Diamonds in the Sky. And then I'm watching Deshaun. And his was really cool because I'm like watching him go from an iPhone to, throughout the whole time. Because I used to DM him. And he would message me back, and I didn't have anything, dude. I was like a beginning sales rep, and we just developed a relationship throughout that process. And I got to watch that whole thing evolve, like CRCA being sponsored by GAF. Then he moves on to his side panels. He's at a panel with at Door to Door Con, and then he's keynoting at in Orlando, RoofCon. We went to too. Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, this guy's doing exactly what he wanted to do. And it was really cool to watch the rise. But that's how a lot of us trained. And I even tell some of the guys now, because I'm a fond believer in that, the message I push across that, like, if we rely solely on just the company we work for to teach us everything, we're going to fail anyway. You have to be willing to step out of that comfort zone and learn more on your own, educate yourself as well as me educating you. So like I still tell people now, I'm like, dude, go follow John, go follow Becca, go follow Deshaun, like watch their videos, read stuff.
Two things to take away from that, though, that I think get overlooked, and this is almost universally applicable. Number one is that growth is found at the edge of your comfort zone, right? Like that's a big one. Like if you are never willing to get to the edge of your comfort zone, your ability to grow or expand is almost zero, right? You have to get to the edge of your comfort zone. You've got to get a little outside of your comfort zone. It's just inside that edge, just outside of it edge. That's where growth really starts to take place. And I also think that, you mentioned you'd be a fool to think that this company can bring all the education that everybody needs. And anybody that's in the industry, I don't care who you work for, if they have a one-day training where you're on a truck or if they have a week-long program, a 3-week program, I promise you, whatever level of training is being brought at you, you need to go and double that on your own at a minimum. So if they have a 3-week training course, you got to think of how many hours that is. Okay, if we got 40 hours a week, that means I'm putting in 40 hours a week of learning after I get done with their program. I need to reinvest that type of time in myself. Go watch YouTube, go read manuals, go read technical bulletins, go through that. If you commit to applying as much education time that the company's giving you on your own, I encourage you to do more than double. But if you at least do that, you're showing some love of the game, some effort to try and love the thing you're doing. We have a weak-minded mentality for several people that they think this thought. One day I'll find the thing I love. Why don't you fucking love the thing you do for a little bit? I don't care how long that is, just for a little bit. But if you try, like if you truly like, you know what, I'm going to full commit to this thing. I'm going to love it. They're bringing me information. I'm going to learn. I'm going to dive in. I'm just going to fully commit to this thing, right? It talks back to you. It will tell you, you shouldn't love it. It will tell you it doesn't love you back. It will tell you this was the wrong decision. But then we leave that thing and we never fully loved it. And we keep thinking the hope of the future, but there's all this cognitive dissonance, this buyer's remorse, this indecisiveness, and this inability to fully commit to things because nobody in those roles and those tasks and those jobs in those moments, they got this job because they needed to pay their bills or because they had to do something. And they never said, you know what, I'm going to give this job everything. When you give that, when you say, I'm going to love the game, you figure out if that's the right game to play. And there's just too many people that are weak-minded about that entire process is they think, oh, I'll do this for a while until I find the right thing for me, until I find the thing I love. No, I promise you, just love what you do for a little bit and you'll learn. You can walk away from it so easy. If you gave it everything, I'm walking away with this. I will never second guess it because I gave it everything. But yeah, man, there's a lot of weak-minded people who just think constantly live their lives 5, 10, 15, 20 years of their career thinking, one day I'll find the thing I love. Just fucking love something for a year and see what that does for you.
Yep, 100%. It's all mindset and perspective. But I wanted to touch base on some other things too. So not only do you provide the training, and obviously you're going around the country and helping other contractors, not just contractors, like magnitudes of people to give back to our industry, to do a lot of big changes, but you have another company as well.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I have NTS. So the consulting side really falls under that whole John the Roof Pro umbrella, but I have NTS, which really started as a Facebook community to name that shingle. That was what it was. When we built that company, we decided that it was going to be Name That Surface. That was kind of the nickname because we were going to expand into other surfaces other than shingles, other exterior surfaces. I don't know that we'll ever outlive the Name That Shingle, though. Like, I've kind of given up on trying to convince people it's anything other than that.
That was a badass page on Facebook, man, for a long time.
Yeah, and people would just post their pictures and we answer their questions. Well, then that blew up into this business because we realized there was a monopoly out there. There was only one company that was charging a service to identify these products. And where there's a monopoly, there's opportunity. There's room for somebody to move in and provide some competition. And look, I'll say this. If it's monopolized and you even get a small piece of that pie, it's still a good piece of the pie in many situations, like especially the bigger the monopoly. So we've been identifying shingles formally since 2021. And that company has continued to grow every single year. We added siding reports. We're adding age reports. So now you can send us metal siding, vinyl siding, wood siding, whatever sidings you want, asphalt composition shingles, some specialty roof surfaces. And, we're taking in, I think we took in something like 30,000 samples of products last year that we looked at. And it's wild the amount of things you learn about old products, the data that you gain, the condition you see those products in, and all just to tell somebody, hey, this is what it is, so they can then go make the next decision. Because as a consumer, they need that information. If you are the property owner, if you're the building owner, if you're the homeowner, and you have a roofer in front of you saying, hey, we can't do this because of X, Y, Z, well, there's naturally a selfish intent. The roofer is like, yeah, we can't repair this, or we can't mix these products, or this is discontinued, this is not compatible, we shouldn't do these things. They don't make it anymore, right? But when you walk up to a property owner or a consumer or a homeowner, and you say, we've checked this with a third party. Here's that document. Here's that information. This is why we feel the best construction approach is going to be X, Y, Z. You now have used a reputable third-party information to say why we're saying this is the change order, or this is the new estimate, or this is what needs to be done. That removes the contractor optic of the contractor being selfish and just trying to sell full jobs, and puts a third party in place. So when we design the NTS reports, we actually design them for a homeowner. Contractors love them. There's a lot of adjusters that love them. There's a lot of public adjusters that love them. There's a lot of appraisers that love them. But we design them to be very, very easy for a homeowner to read. So when you sit in front of them and explain it to them, oh, that makes sense. This is why Romans needs to do this thing and this thing and this thing. So I love that business. And then I assume that's the one you were asking about, but I also have an online consulting program. Yeah, you guys have been in there for a while. You've come to the several classes, speaking events, but I also have...
You sent shingles too.
Oh yeah, you've sent shingles. I can't remember. Have you sent a siding sample? I don't know off the top of my head without looking.
I would have to
yeah,
look
you
too.
Yeah, we're all little...
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure on because I didn't even know about the siding till you brought that up right now. So that's good to know. But before you jump off to the next business venture that you have, what do you do with the inventory of all the
good question.
products? Because do you have like a big warehouse and you inventory it all so you have the history? Or what does that all look like behind the scenes?
Keep in mind, everything that comes in is photographed, captured, measured, data collected. We don't need to keep it. We do have an inventory of historical items, right? So like if we've gotten something that we feel like is unique, needs data, needs to be saved. So we do have a storage of stuff that we just don't want to get rid of ever. But in general, the sample is going to stay with us for about 30, 40 days, and then it's disposed of. Unless somebody has a question in that 30, 40 days, then we set it back aside again. But man, you think about that, 30,000 samples, like we can't keep it all. But there are a lot of unique things that we've received that are just wild. There's a term in this industry called seconds, where it's a run that just wasn't a clean run, right? So it's one-offs essentially. We've received a handful of those that I'm like, oh my God, this is wild. There's products that were only run for a year as a test product we've received that we have those in storage. There's people that have sent us full bundles of shingles with the wrappers and packages and stuff that we've collected the data off of and kept. So we have a lot of things that we have kept and retained to have that data. But there are other things we do with it. Sometimes we test them. Sometimes we pull them apart. Sometimes we will try and just literally one of the things we've done before, just apply friction to it to see how the granules come off of this product from the South versus how it comes off the exact same product that came out of Ohio, right? And it's just the same tool, the same device to see, all right, hey, we know these two are the same age and it's the same product, so let's just see what happens here. So we do a lot of little quirky things with them just to see what we can learn about the products that were built and constructed. We've donated products for testing. There's people who want to do things like apply their roof rejuvenation product to it to see if the shingle becomes more pliable. So we've donated to those type of things. We've actually tested some of those products. We have donated to ice impact testing and steel testing. So the products actually get some wild use that I never expected, and we've gotten some pretty interesting data from those things. So yeah, data is king. Look, I applaud any company who realizes that there's data hidden and that data can be captured, and somebody probably wants that data. And we've realized that in the infancy of NTS, we weren't getting enough data, and we probably aren't even getting all we should get now. It's a constant learning curve, but yeah, we try and capture as much data and information as we can.
Now, one other thing on that before we go on your expert opinion, can you paint vinyl siding?
No. No,
I
I
mean,
would say that as a
there's
building
people out
consultant,
there or companies out there that recommend painting vinyl siding. So, in your expert opinion, because
and look, there are
I
paints and there are applications that say they can be applied to vinyl siding. Let's take it all the way through that thought process and just really look with that. Number one, a dyed product to replicate that color in the field is virtually impossible. You may go get a paint chip from your hardware store. It looks good. Then you apply it, the light, everything, it's just not going to look the same. I'd be hard pressed to get it. You lose grain and texture because now you're rolling on, brushing on paint. So if it has a grain, a wood grain, a texture, anything in it, it's not going to be the same texture. Okay. So just those two pieces alone. Your vinyl product was designed to resist as much UV and hold color for as long as possible, and that's slowly faded over time, whereas paint is likely going to need to be repainted in 3 to 5 years in many situations. So the second you paint it, you've introduced what is likely going to be a maintenance item that needs to be repainted and repainted and repainted until you finally get rid of that siding. Then you add to the fact that siding is designed to clip together, have some flexibility because a home expands and contracts. Even the nail flange for siding has a flange that is 1 inch wide where the nail goes, so it can move a little bit as the house expands and contracts. Well, once you paint and seal that whole thing up and it expands and contracts, you can go look at the bottom of that. It starts cracking the paint because it's expanding and contracting. There's weep holes for water on the bottom of siding where water's supposed to be able to get out. You paint it, you close the weep holes, you may be holding moisture in, even if it's just static moisture, not driven rain getting in there. Okay, you're now holding moisture in. There's every reason on the face of the planet to not paint your vinyl siding. And if someone just looks at it aesthetically, that is someone that didn't fully dive into the very, very intimate details of how it's designed to function when it is installed versus what happens after you paint it and it still needs to function. It's more than just an aesthetic. There are performance concerns when you paint vinyl siding.
I love it. We're going to have to make sure that we make a short out of that so that we have that everywhere.
No, 100%. Yeah, vinyl siding being.
I'll make her short right now. Homeowners, if you've been told to paint your vinyl siding, it's this simple. Paint will not accomplish the real color. That factory dye fades over time, and that just isn't going to be accomplished with field paint. When you field paint it, siding is designed to move and contract. That field paint seals everything up, then cracks and breaks away because it's still expanding and contracting on your home. You've also likely sealed up breathe points and weep holes in that siding that are designed to get air, moisture, and vapor out, and you may be trapping in moisture that you open up is a big problem, creating dampness on the inside. That's just a few of the reasons, but if anybody has ever asked you to paint your siding, contractor or insurance company, find somebody who's going to educate you on why you shouldn't paint vinyl siding. There's your short.
I love it.
See, it's a podcast. We can
Hey,
do whatever the fuck we want.
Wait, did you see how passionate he got about that though? Like he sat up and he got super excited,
Got him
man.
fired up.
Look, give me
that
a
is
camera and a
awesome.
microphone, y'all. Like I do this all the time, man. Like
No, but appreciate that. That mean that you really believe and you've done some of the research, because I used to think it was just because a lot of vinyl, like it's not porous enough. So when you paint it, what does it stick to? Like if you sanded it down a little bit, like if you want to go
you
out
made
and
it abrasive, maybe.
But so how does the paint stick to it? It doesn't.
You know this as well as I do. How many people painted it without soft washing it first, and there's all the film, the oxidation on it? The paint just peels right off.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, that was a waste of thousands of dollars, and we got to do it again.
Yeah.
I've had to go consult on those. Like, well, why isn't the paint sticking? I'm like, well, it's not your paint provider's fault. It's not your siding's fault. I can tell you whose insurance this is at fault, and it's your contractor.
So you've actually seen contractors paint the vinyl siding.
Yeah, without-
not just a regular homeowner, like someone who doesn't know. Actual contractors
without soft washing it first, and it just peeled right off.
Well, even the painting it, they should know better. But then,
yeah.
Wow.
We had one. I had a lady that I was helping in Valparaiso, Indiana, actually, and she had vinyl siding, and they wanted me to harvest. You ever hear them do that?
Harvesting vinyl siding.
American family.
Yep.
Said, "Go ahead
Harvesting
and pull it
vinyl
off the
siding
back and put it on the
can
front."
be done. There's some challenges with it. Number one, you need to be able to remove the siding without compromising it or breaking it. The other thing that a homeowner needs to understand before harvesting take place is that siding has been weathered on one elevation. And when you're moving it to another elevation, you may think it's all uniform until you move it to the other elevation. You realize, oh my God, it faded this way on this side and not this much on this side. And now I have this bright, shiny piece that is going to be a problem on there. Not to mention you've taken something that's plastic. It's been hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. You've disconnected it. You've unclipped it. there's really no testing that says that it's still going to perform the same, have the same wind resistance once you detach it, move it around to another side, different weather elements, different sun exposure, different things going on, reclip it together, re-nail the flanges, that it's going to work. So
well, it was even worse than that. The whole upper left part of the house was ripped off all through the yard and stuff, like broken pieces. And then on the front, and they wanted her to go in the back where nobody could see it. That was their justification for it, because she had a creek behind her house. They wanted her to go in the back and take the equivalency, like the amount of siding for the side and the front, put it on there, and then leave the back with the missing stuff. And their justification was because nobody can see the back. You could just put any vinyl up there and fill in the gaps.
That's a great idea until you go to sell the home. You know, as a homeowner, when I go to sell my home, I've been through the home buying process. You've been through it, right? Like You've been through the home buying process. When you start affecting perceived value of a home, you do affect the real value of a home, right? If the perception is that is an eyesore, that's a problem, that's an issue, I want that fixed, I don't like the way that looks. When you start affecting perceived value of a home, there's a good chance you affect real value of a home. So when something is done on your home and a contractor comes out and does work that affects the perceived value of the home, the aesthetics of that home, there's a chance that affects the real value, that when you go to a transaction, when you go to sale, there's going to be concessions or requests for that to be changed, fixed, updated, or modified. And again, it's so short-sighted in those moments that we're in those moments and we're thinking, I just need this solved now. But you may find that what you actually did was defer to having to fix the problem on a much bigger scale 5 years down the road when the cost of the full project is way more expensive because of inflation. And it's being asked during the home transaction, you're just kind of stuck. Like, well, now we got to do it if we want to get the sale to go through. So, yeah, affecting perceived value usually affects real value. So be cautious on that.
100%. And now I want to hear about the other business. Now that Mike sidetracked us, what's this
that was
other
a great
one
sidetrack. I'll take all the sidetracks in the world.
No, those are good for our clients.
Thank you. So So Chris Zimmerman and I, he's a contractor out of Ohio. We have a online program called Master Your Craft that people can do monthly trainings. We do 3 calls a month. That has been fun. You mentioned this. You've got trainers that you guys have aligned with, but everybody has a different style. If your style is to bring trainers in, get them all ramped up, go crush your season, great. I love that in-person moment. If your style is to do classes throughout the year, great. If your style is to find a pre-recorded program, there's people that have pre-recorded programs you can buy. If your style is, I don't want to take my team out of the field, but I want them to get some live training, well, that's what Master Your Craft has. 3 calls, they're on Zooms, they're also recorded. So the people that want to go back and watch the recordings can watch them. We had no clue what that was going to become, which was really cool because we had about 10, 15 people that would constantly text us, hey man, I hate to bother you. Can you give me, when you get time, can you call us? I got another question. It was just like, hey, is there any chance you guys would just want to get together and we'll do these calls and we'll have topics and we'll go through these things? And it was a yes. And we said, we'll do it for this price. And it was a yes. And that went from those few people. And right now I think we're right around like 50 contractors. And we had no clue that was going to create like a network, a community of contractors that were communicating with each other, and now they share their ideas with each other. So that was wild.
I just joined that Facebook group today, actually.
Yeah, and that's the group that then kind of, Chris and I do a lot of talking, and almost like how NTS talked about shingles, Chris and I talk about these things. And obviously the goal of that group is, somebody's in that group and is like, you know what, this is the style I like. I want to check out this program and get in there. So it's fun. And then outside of that, if everybody likes to throw around the word AI, we're working on some crazy AI projects for efficiencies to take the systems that Chris and I have built and bring those to your team automated. There's some fun stuff that we're working on. So yeah, those I got to keep a little secret though.
Yeah. Are we done with the business stuff? Can we have fun with him for a little bit?
Well, let's do it.
Or do you have any more? No, I was actually going to literally tail into that segment as well.
John, shut up. That was boring.
No, fuck no.
But we want to have some fun with you, too.
We got John here, so
let's have some fun.
Get your shameless plug in. But yeah, now let's.
All right. First off, kicks. I know you're big on kicks and everything, so we have to ask you this question. Who's the GOAT, LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan. It's simple. Just go in any room, and not that this is the measure of the GOAT, but go in any room and ask if anybody has, if there's 100 people in that room, say, hey, who has on Jordans, and then say who has on LeBrons, okay?
Does anyone have LeBrons?
I have one pair.
I had a pair
once in my life. A really good client gave them to me. So, who
has a Barbie doll?
That's not.
I mean, that LeBron takes that one. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, look, I can't get into all the data without having it in front of me, but I look at his resilience, his longevity in the game. Great. LeBron's longevity in the game. great, right? Fantastic. But this dude played for one team a majority of his career and had the resilience through multiple championships, not one, not two, multiple championships. The game was different then too. I get it. There's a whole argument that's hard comparison, but Jordan's the GOAT to me, man. I'm 41, almost 42 years old. It also fits my age range that he's, I was kind of done with NBA basketball when LeBron got in. So, but no, I'm.
Yeah, you didn't even get to see Magic or Bird play.
Nope.
You missed out on that.
It's 100% Mike, though. I saw. So when I argue it, it used to be like, oh, all you talk about is rings because we're born and raised in Illinois. So like all of us are diehard Michael fans. And everybody always says that. So Jalen Rose actually had the best argument, and he said that there's 30 points, 50% shooting, top defensive player of the year, and scoring title has been done 4 times in the NBA. That's it, 4 times. As someone had that stat line, Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan. It's the only player ever to do that 4 consecutive times. I mean, like that's no rings mentioning or anything. There's a reason that he, people consider him the greatest of all time. Like, there's a reason for that. Even NBA players. Shit, LeBron James' son, Bronny, will tell you that Michael's the GOAT.
Well, I mean, that's funny. I mean, Wade has said Jordan's the GOAT. Anthony Davis has said Jordan's the GOAT. I mean, there's guys that he's played with. Yeah. Ray Allen has come out. I mean, these are top 75 players that played with you and are saying Michael Jordan's the GOAT. But I think, I was thinking about this the other day because teams do win championships. So let's not give Jordan all the credit because Jordan always gives Pippen. Right away, the first thing he always does is give Scottie Pippen credit.
Yeah.
So when there was that podcast that LeBron was doing or Barbershop or whatever, and they talk about when they came back 3-1 against Golden State, and he goes out and says, that right there made me the greatest of all time. What about the other 11 guys that were on your team that helped you come back, like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, and like you just basically discounted everything they did. But then when you lost in 2011, you said you didn't have enough help. So what is it? Like, make up your mind. You say you don't have enough help, but then when you win a championship, you're like, oh, that made me the greatest of all time. Or the COVID title was the toughest championship of all time. It's hard to it's really hard to compare because he did appreciate his team dynamic and he had a phenomenal team dynamic. I mean, just great players surrounding him throughout that time frame. So yes, he carried a lot of the weight, but you're right. LeBron, when he carried the weight, he was like, all right, yeah, I'll take all the credit. When the team failed, he blamed the team. So he didn't say I should have played better. I should have carried the weight more. So I do have my druthers with that I would have liked to see a little more onus in the idea that if it is going to be you, take the good and the bad. Don't throw the bad at the team and take the good when you want the good. So, there was a good one I heard. You guys listened to All That Smoke, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes?
No, I don't watch that.
So they had Craig Hodges on the other day. And one of the things that stuck out to me was Hodges said he was with the Bulls 4.5 years. Michael Jordan never lost a suicide to anyone ever on the team. That he would just make sure he won every time. In practice, he would not relent.
Jeez.
He went harder in practice than he did in games. Never let a single teammate win a suicide.
And I hated those runs when I played. Whew.
Yeah. I mean, that's just different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, there's nothing I could say that I've been that great in. I don't know about you guys, but like, that's just a different mindset that you can never let anyone win.
I'm curious, across sports, like just taking all sports, who do you think is the greatest? All sports considers, all top athletes sports. Of all highlighted athletes, who do you think is the greatest?
In what? What's the definition, though?
That's so hard. I had a funny stat I was telling my fiance about. By definition, probably Secretariat. But if we want to consider horses athletes, I know that some people
that's one way to look at it. But did not go there.
Well,
but that's a good
ESPN
one.
Considers him an athlete. But what I brought him up for was he had 668 other horses that he breeded with throughout his lifetime, and they went on to win like 60-something championships. Like that dude just gave up. Like I was telling my fiance about it. Yeah.
That's a true
He was
stud.
a stallion. Yeah, he was. By definition.
Worth the fee.
But, as an individual person, that's so difficult, man. But I'd still be a little biased. I mean, Michael's definitely in that conversation.
He's in the conversation, 100%.
Yeah, he changed the way we view not only the professionalism of the league, suits and shit. Mike brought that. These guys dressed like gangsters before Mike got in the league. He just brought like a whole, I mean, he changed the whole thing. He brought them global, his impact, like the shoes. Yeah, it's probably Mike.
Yeah.
It's probably Mike.
So I only say this because athlete and I guess accomplished athlete are completely different in my mind. So if you're going to look at all the sports and who stands out the furthest of any sport, it's probably Wayne Gretzky against his peers.
Okay.
But the greatest athlete, and everything got cut short by him, no doubt, no question, is Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was the greatest athlete. The things that he could do, they still can't do them today with all the PEDs, and we hear about how great all these athletes are. They're so much bigger, stronger, and faster. That guy was the biggest, strongest, fastest person who ever lived.
Because he didn't get his 40 beat until, when did he have his 40?
I don't even know if it has been.
No, it got beat this year or last year.
Oh, did it? Because I was saying Chris Johnson, I know, was close.
Think of how long it took for that dude's 40 to get beat, right? Like, so as far as athleticism, I like that concept. I'll throw a curveball at you though. Nolan Ryan, it is physically impossible to outdo his stats with the way they play today. Now, I think the game has limited that, but I think it's physically impossible to outdo his stats.
What I like
So I think he's up in there in that conversation.
So you're a big
too.
baseball guy. Man, we could go on here for baseball
baseball,
forever.
but I like Gretzky in the conversation. I think that's a really good one. I love the thought process of having Secretariat in there because you know it's not even just a human in that situation. Michael Jordan's definitely in that conversation. There's other people. There's other basketball players in that conversation. But if you look at his stats and you look at the average pitches a pitcher throws today versus what he could throw, how long he could last in a game, how many pitches they let pitchers throw in a game, then it's virtually impossible for somebody to outstat him.
He's amazing, and I mean, he gave the business to Robin Ventura too. But I wouldn't, man. Probably make you mad then because we're all baseball guys, but I think the greatest pitcher of all time is Greg Maddux for one simple reason. He never threw 90 miles an hour and won 300 games.
Yeah.
That's
wild.
insane.
Right? Like
insane.
That's an odd skill, you know. Like so, that's another cool person to bring up in these conversations.
If he threw a ball, it was because he wanted to.
He was a real pitcher. Like he was
good,
an artist.
And what, 14 or was 16, something like that, gold gloves? Like the guy has I'm pretty sure it's like 16 gold gloves on top of it. Wait, Greg Maddux is amazing.
I only know this because it just recently happened, but I think in the history of baseball that there's only been 4 players that have hit 4 home runs in a game.
No,
or no, 19 players that have hit. So 4 home runs in a game is more rare than a perfect game pitching.
And that's crazy because Bums did it. Mike Cameron did it with Seattle.
I know because I'm a Braves fan. And
Bob Warner did it. Remember him?
Yeah.
18 guys.
18 guys?
18. No. Oh. Greg Maddux, I'm sorry. 18 gold gloves.
18 gold
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
18 and
That's
300
absurd.
wins.
That's absurd. Search how many MLB players have hit 4 home runs in a game. I'm pretty sure it's 18 or 19.
While he looks that up, Pete Rose was taken off the ban list today. I am not a Pete Rose fan, and I've said this for a long time. They were going to pull this bullshit on him. They waited till he died, and they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. And I think at this point...
19.
19. Yeah, that's how rare that is.
The last one was Eugenio Suarez.
Oh, yeah, this year.
April 26th.
No, against the Braves. I'm a Braves fan, and that's who hit it against us. I was like, are you kidding me? We let one dude hit 4 home runs. I was pissed.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned about that stat. I was like, well, that's like the rarest thing in baseball, it seems like.
Yeah. So Pete Rose, though, his family should just decline if they put him in the Hall of Fame at this point, because they waited for him to die just so he could never experience it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And even though I'm not a Pete Rose fan, but look, this Barry Bonds thing not being in the Hall of Fame, Roger Clemens, it's all bullshit.
Bro, Ron Santo only got in because he died. That's what they do. That's how they are.
I know it's so petty. Yeah. The Baseball Hall of Fame is like the
Mongo
pettiest.
too. What Mongo?
Well, no, he made it to his Hall of Fame ceremony.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, he just passed a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, Baseball Hall of Fame is so petty.
Seems very, very, very political.
Oh yeah, Kurt Schilling can't get in because
All
he
those
votes
players,
Republican. Like it's crazy.
all of those plays.
Like it's like really
It has nothing to do with steroids. It's only because he voted Republican.
Take all the juice you want.
Oh, they were all.
But if you're
doing
red,
juice.
you're dead to me.
So everybody in the hall is Democrat. Like every single player.
No, but I mean because he came out and
amazing, dude.
he pissed a lot of people off with his views and everything. And I simplified the argument for him, but that's kind of the simplified argument.
I was
for
going to
him.
make a joke. Joe was going to say, "All right, John, people want to know who'd you vote for." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Like, but what would you be doing if you were not doing this right now? Like if you had no affiliation to roofing. I'm not asking you what you'd be doing in your career unless we want to talk about. I'm saying like maybe not even what you'd be doing if you were off for like a week and you got to enjoy your side hobbies. Like what do you do besides spending time with the family? I'm saying like, are you a Legos guy?
Oh, so not the
Pokemon?
family.
Well, yeah, because
okay.
I know the obvious answers. I mean, you're a dedicated man. You have family and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We
I mean,
get
I'm
that.
a father of 5. You know, happily
Shit,
married.
Well,
like,
you ain't got alone time. So like,
this
let's just
this
figure
free
out if you
time
could.
that you're talking about.
Yeah, how did you watch a baseball game this year?
Phone. You just track the date on your
No.
phone while you're doing everything else, man. I don't
It's all
actually get to
business
watch
meetings.
anything.
That's what it is. Like,
Although I'm pretty sure I get to watch one this week live in person, so that'll be fun. But so let's carve that out, right? Like if your real question is, you know, what makes up John outside of roofing and
Hobbies,
outside
yeah.
of
What's your-
the
that people don't know
family,
about?
the kids. I'll say this first though. Look, man, the true joy in my life is being able to spend time and travel. I did not realize that was going to be so cool. Like you think of the things you like physically get as a kid, you can't remember them. You know, like I bet you could name like 5 monumental gifts you got as a kid. Right? But you could probably tell me trip after trip that you remember with your family, your parents, and everything else like that. And when I had that moment, I realized like we're gonna travel. Like I travel for all this for work. We get all these benefits. We get all these flights, all these miles, all these things. Like we're going to maximize the use of that. So I will say that like that is something I deeply love is to just travel and create memories, whether that's with my wife or with the entire family. Obviously, very different trips. So here's the other things. I played guitar for years. I don't get to play it a lot now. But I love playing guitar, man. I love just being able to pick up the guitar and just chill for a little bit. So a lot of fun, more acoustic stuff, big Dave Matthews fan. So that's a big one. I collect bourbons. I think a lot of people outwardly know that about me. The bottle collection's 300 plus bottles of bourbon. A lot of duplicates in there. People, that's not 300
He's a
unique.
collector as well.
Well, I used to be. So I sold a bottle a couple years ago. It was a Twisted Spoke, 16. I bought it for I think like $4,000, and then I wound up selling it for like 16, and then it went up even more. Like, are you collecting them and keeping them sealed, or are you trying them out?
So I have a 2-bottle rule. So I don't open it till I have the second bottle. So yes, I keep one sealed. I had a client in Atlanta explain something one time, and they were like, "Hey, look, you know, we just started buying wines by cases and keeping them, and then we just had a nice wine cellar." And then we would host parties and people were like, oh my God, like, how do you have this? What is this? Like, you must have spent a fortune on this, but we had done it for 10, 15 years and we had all these wines collected. And he kind of laughed. He was like, well, then when we had kids get married, when we had graduations, we had great stuff to celebrate with. We had stuff they were not going to be able to go out and afford to buy on their own right away. He said, after the first graduation party, he had 4 kids. He said, after the first graduation party that we had, the next graduation party, people showed up with plenty of gifts for our kids because they knew we had the best wine collection around for people to show up to. So I plan on saving those bottles and opening them with my children during monumental events, during memories to celebrate things, if they choose to drink. I mean, obviously that's
promoting
their choice.
alcohol already with your kids.
Yeah, if they choose to, right?
A true roofer.
But you know, who knows what it is? It may be a wedding. It may be, you know, I have one daughter, and maybe the guy that proposes to her, and if that ends up happening in life, maybe he likes whiskeys and bourbons, and I show him a bottle he's never seen before, right? Like that he's never going to see again. We crack that thing open, celebrate. So who knows? So bourbons, that's a nice hobby for me. Outside of that, I play video games. I actually play Fortnite.
Okay,
Yeah,
Fortnite.
Yep.
What
I do
else
play
do you
video games. I just don't have time for any other ones. And I came up from Madden, MLB The Show, which back in my day we played Call of Duty. You know, that was kind of the big game.
I play COD literally almost nightly.
Yeah, that changed too much for me. Whereas Fortnite's pretty simple. So two of my boys play Fortnite. The 8-year-old and the 14-year-old play Fortnite, so I play with them. So that's a fun little thing to do. And then outside of that, I'm pretty handy. I like to make things, do things, take things apart, put things together within choice, right? Like there's things in my house that I don't want to fix. But hell, I had to fix a part in my golf cart, and I've worked on cars, so I just took that thing apart, and, it's soothing. I just play some music. So I kind of like those little things I get to do. It's why I like to go do like metal detail, flashing work on a roof. Like just throw the music in, and it's like fine detailed work. You're very satisfied with the result of that project. So I like little handy projects that I choose to do.
Yeah.
I'm paying for the rest of that shit. I don't have time, so.
Yeah. See, I was going to guess you would have been like a hair model in your in your spare time, because you do have wonderful hair.
When I was 18, 19 years old, I did get to go do a haircut set. My mom was actually she was a beautician.
Is this a true story?
This is a true story. My mom was a beautician and haircut, stylist, everything before she got married. When she got married, started having kids, she would just do that privately. She cut my hair my entire life until I went off to college. But she hooked me up through the salon that her friend owned to go do the haircut thing for Haircut Academy, haircut, whatever. They just needed models to get haircuts done for American Crew, the product brand. Pretty famous hair product brand now, but American Crew. So I go downtown Indianapolis and go through a couple of different haircuts, photos, pictures, and stuff like that. So I have actually modeled hair at one point in my life. That is a fun fact that I've never talked about with anybody in the roofing industry.
Wow, I feel very special right
guys,
now. Like
first ones get to hear that story.
We broke it on the Roof Trollz, baby.
We have a kinship now. I don't have good, but we have one of our Roof Trollz who is probably a self-proclaimed hair model. So, but he screws that up all the time.
Well, he did a Corona commercial, I think he did, and then some like.
But it wasn't because of his hair, though.
No.
But I mean, he comes in with all these
Him and
crazy
his wife
hairstyles.
did an Albert's commercial too, I think, for jewelry.
Nice. Well, good for them.
Angelo, you met him.
Yeah.
Long hair. He always does this every 5 minutes.
He's got good hair. It's a little flat. Like he needs to get some the natural highlights like I have in mine, which just requires an immense amount of stress. You got some natural highlights in your facial hair. I can see that, man.
Hang on, I'm old. There's a huge difference. I'm really old. So I'm allowed to have these. When I was, I'm not, trying to get hard on you. When I was your age, I still had almost all brown.
Oh God, good for you, man.
What happened?
When you look at this right here, like all like this is the sunlight. It's probably like glistening on this thing, man. If you go look back when the NTS group first started, I was like mildly salt and pepper, like just a little bit of gray in there.
That's what happened. You started fighting insurance companies, and here you go.
You start dealing with that company growing, the sales side of things still, the Facebook group, constantly the reach out and the questions. And I remember the first several, and I mean hundreds of NTS reports we wrote before we made it officially available through the website. People were sending those to my house, and I was taking these shingles in. I was analyzing them in the garage. I was writing these reports, and my wife was like, is this worth it? And I remember she asked me several times. I told her, yes, it was. Unbelievable the support that she was. Like, I could see the average person be like, I don't want this stuff in my house. Like, this is messy. So supportive about the whole thing. But yeah, we go back and look at the very first class I ever taught versus now. And my marketing guy, Paul, God love him because he's done so much for me. But Paul was like, yeah, your hair's a little different, buddy. And I'm like, yep. Yeah, I guess that happens in 3 years of just running wild, like nonstop, just running at that pace. So,
but once you get it, he doesn't have it yet. Once you get it, it's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You're keeping it.
Yeah.
Bro, yesterday, so I trimmed up the ends of my beard because I'm letting it grow out. Like, so yesterday I had a fuck ton of grays in it. It was like bad. I'm like, dude, I don't even know. I should shave this off at this point. Like, I have a baby face underneath this. I'm like,
maybe I do see a couple grays there on the bottom.
So I trimmed it up, and all of this went away. So, actually, people at the office today were like, dude, did you dye your beard? I'm like, no, I didn't dye my beard. I just happened to clip all the grays except for the ones down here. But yeah, it's coming. I mean, I'll be 39 in September, so it's coming.
Oh yeah, it's coming. I'm mind
bald.
it.
At least you fucking have hair, both of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm bald as shit. My daughter always roasts me for it. I'm like, well, Aria, I had hair prior to you being here. And I show her photos like when she was like 8 months old and I actually had hair. And I'm like, see, like you did this.
Well, luckily you don't have a bad bald head.
No.
I shaved my head bald one time and it wasn't pretty.
Yeah,
remember Scottie Pippen when he shaved his head? It was like that. So thank God I didn't go bald. Oh, I'd be Scottie Pippen Jr. but with a little bit paler complexion.
God,
We just talked about this on the last podcast.
I'm pretty sure that is the benchmark of the bald head that you don't want. But yeah, I can remember. Well, I'll give you another good example. So I'm not a Pacers fan. My whole family's from Louisiana, so everything Louisiana, but that meant Shaq, which was in Orlando, like when I was younger watching basketball, so I was a big Magic fan at the time. But anyway, there was the whole Pacers, Knicks rivals and everything when I was a teenager, and they were coming up and all. But one of the things that the Pacers did for luck was they all shaved their heads, and there was a white center, Rick Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. That shaved head. You're like, oh, somebody shaved a turkey and put it on his head. What? No.
I don't know if you played video games back then, but Rick Smits was the man in NBA Hang
Yeah,
Time.
you can just throw
NBA
it to him and he just...
Yeah, just dunk it the whole time. Yeah, him and Reggie Miller you got Miller on threes and Smits down low, and you're just banging people
past that thing. That was a great game too.
It was.
But that dude did not look good. That was the benchmark of what you did not want to look like bald as a white dude right there. Sorry, Rick. Love what you did for the Pacers, but that was not a good look on you. Keep your hair, bro.
For some reason, I don't think he'll disagree with you. Yeah.
Also, if Rick is listening to the Roof Trollz, fuck yeah.
Please share this with the rest of the team. Okay.
That's amazing.
Can we get a like from Reggie Miller?
So what I like too that you're doing, and I think it's really cool, and it's something that I 100% push. So like my goal is to change how we view sales through collaboration, education, and humor. So I really like some of the humor that you've been throwing into your videos too, and this is where like I had a private conversation with Mike Goldstein too, because we spoke at an event called Roof Camp a few months ago in Kentucky together, and Mike is the same way. So I really enjoy when you guys throw humor behind it. I think it's like, one, it's more relatable.
Sure.
And two, it's just, that's what I want to promote. And I don't think enough people do that. Everybody talks about recruiting. Oh, you can make this amount of money. You can make this. Okay, everybody's not driven by money. Like, how fun this industry is what we should really be pushing to people. Like, we're passionate about it, yes, but it's also just awesome. Like, I fell in love with this thing in 3 days. I knew I was going to do this for the rest of my life. Like, it literally happened just like that. So, like, I enjoy that. Where did that come from? And, like, you know, is it part of your connecting with people?
I would arguably say that I probably use sarcasm as a defense. So part of it comes from that sarcasm as a defense situation. I actually have done and encourage anybody that is in sales, especially door-to-door sales, go and do open mic night and write some jokes and try and say those for 5 to 8 minutes at open mic. I've done that a handful of times. I've absolutely done great, and I've flat out bombed. So I've gone through both experiences. It's not fun to bomb and sit there in a quiet room, especially when it's amateur night or open mic night. So the other piece too, I did it just because I wanted the reaction. I wanted people to laugh. I wanted people to experience that humor in there. But what I learned as I got more into the public speaking platform and the training and coaching side of things, that if you go back and pay attention, some of the best speakers out there, they're getting a reaction every about 2 to 7 minutes, depending on the type of presentation, the room, the people in there, every 2 to 7 minutes. You can't make your reaction the same every time. Sometimes it's going to be emotional. Sometimes the reaction is literally that pause where you can almost feel it in the room. Sometimes the reaction is going to be the laugh, the humor. So the shock, oh my God, you're right. But the best public speakers, they're getting reactions between 2 and 7 minutes in a presentation. So you take an hour presentation, they're getting those reactions. Those comedians have much tighter timelines because they're telling a story and layering in those jokes, and so they're more on the 2-minute side of things, right? Getting those reactions, whereas some of the bigger public speakers are out there. And for me, my choice in the reaction was humor. We talk about something that can be absolutely boring at times. When you talk about technical builds, codes, inspection processes, and things like that, the ability to take that and in there layer in humor, layer in voices, layer in personalities, that is to me the best way to take those moments, because there's not really like a lot of emotional moments where we're talking about a shingle and suddenly everybody's like, oh my God, a shingle. Oh, that's a good story. That's not going to happen a lot in this world. You're almost forced to use things that are shock, wow, and laughter. That's why I have so many different personalities, voices, tones, inflections, and jokes. And there are definitely times I've been speaking and I'm like, well, that one didn't hit. I guess I won't use that. I've openly said that. Well, that one didn't hit. I'm not gonna use that one again, right? But I love that. Like that is a fun part of me that stemmed from a handful of different things. But yeah, go try open mic night, salespersons. Go, if you are in sales, go try an open mic or an amateur night at a comedy club and see how that goes for you. You're going to find out real quick just how comfortable you are in a public platform. And if you love it, keep doing it. Like if you're good at it, keep doing it. You may find that that's a fun thing to do. So, which by the way, what a fucked up concept. Like what else in life would you go to for amateur night? Could you imagine if the best restaurant in town had amateur chef night? Who would show up for that?
Bro, we went in Salt Lake
Strip clubs,
City.
Amateur night. Like just the thing. Like where else is amateur night gonna fly? Contractor, amateur day.
Like what would they be presenting?
No, not comedians. I'm saying like what other
I think there's amateur
spaces?
stripper club night or.
Are there? I don't do strip clubs, but like I'm just thinking to myself, where else could you pull off amateur night?
Yeah, I mean it's
right.
Amateur
repair shop, amateur day. Come in and show us your repair skills.
But in front of everyone, that's
and that's
even tougher.
Yeah, fishbowl. Yeah. Fishbowl concept. You are whoa.
Yeah, you find out real quickly if you're long for the game or not. That first flop.
Ooh, I do like to cook though. That's another thing that I think when cooking isn't your full-time gig, that I don't know, like chefs love it. That's their passion thing. But you cook like for fun. I think you can really enjoy cooking. So I do enjoy to cook, grill, smoke, like a lot of different things. I enjoy playing around with the flavors of food. That's
I love to cook too. And then I don't cook that often at my house, but I think it's part of the reason is because of that. Because like when I do commit to a meal, I try to, I'm
you're
here,
like all out.
Yeah, I'm in the kitchen, I'm spending money, I'm at the store, like let's do this. Like let's make our own, I'm gonna craft my own shit all from scratch. Like let's create this.
I got a proposition for you guys then. You guys can keep practicing your craft and I'll just keep eating your food. How's that? Because I don't want to cook anything. I'll just sit and eat. I love to eat. I don't love to cook.
There's far more people that love to eat versus people that love to cook. So
Damn.
it works out well, I guess.
Okay. So, and both. And you've got a lot of mouths to feed at home, so it's probably not a hard time for you.
And you want to hear something funny? My wife has never had red meat. So she eats chicken, fish, seafoods, things like that. She's never had red meat. So no steak, no beef, no bacon, no pork, nothing for her. And I eat everything, like literally everything. So it gets kind of interesting when we cook meals because it's usually a 2-protein meal or it's a protein that works for her. So when we do like steak night at my house, I'll tell you what, those boys,
got, like, surf and turf going.
Those 4 boys, and we do like a sea bass or something with it, right? But when we do steak night at our house, those 4 boys devour steaks. But here's the really funny part of that. Like the first time I got them to do steaks, we did it at a restaurant, nice restaurant, let them order them. Then we come back and I cooked them my way. I hard sear them, then we oven, right? 10 minutes, fillets, great. Season them how I want. So now my daughter goes into a restaurant when it's a steakhouse and she's like, I'll do the fillet, Pittsburgh, medium rare. And the servers look over at me like, I'm just nodding like, yeah, that's 100% accurate. Like, don't look at me. Like, you can look at her and tell her no or question her if you want. So I just laugh the first time that somebody takes her to a steakhouse. She's only 12.
How old are your kids?
So it's unfair to say 14 and 12 because those two are about to be 15 and 13. But right now, 14, 12, 8, 6, 4, and the 12-year-old's the only girl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so lots of boys, 1 girl. And man, like that's what I was saying. Like for me to travel and make memories with them, to go to Disney, to go to beach vacations. We took the older 2 and just did Paris and London to just do those trips with them. I took my 8-year-old to a Braves game, first professional Braves game. Took my 14-year-old boy to Braves game. He's a Braves fan because I am. Thought it was just like one of the best days he's had to experience a live MLB game ever. And just you can't. I'm sorry, I can buy you all the video games. I can buy you all the toys you want. Those are going to be fleeting moments in your life, but you will forever remember what it's like to have the first sit-down baseball game with your parents or with your father, right? The first time you can actually remember walking through Disney and riding rides. Like, you just can't take, oh, hey, man, that to me is a true joy in life. That's a fun passion. I will grind my ass off to make sure that we can always provide those memories for my family.
Well, you're changing their life, though, like, taking your two oldest, you said, to Paris.
Yeah.
That's life-changing, not just because you're taking them to Paris. You've just opened up the whole world to them.
Yeah.
So now they're not stuck in Indiana, Illinois their whole life. They're like, hey, I'm a teenager. I've been to Paris. What's next?
Yeah.
And then it never stops.
And they said stuff like that. They're like, you know what? Next, I'd like, I'm like, I didn't think that when I was a kid. And I'm not, look, I love my parents deeply. And I'm blessed. Both my parents are alive. Got to spend Mother's Day weekend up with my mom and dad. That was fantastic. And, but they homeschooled 5 kids. They had one income, right? My dad worked hard. Mom stayed at home, and we just didn't have the financial ability to do those things. I'm fortunate that, yes, I've worked hard for the financial ability, but I also have sick travel benefits because of how much I fly on top of it, So I never said, where do we go next, right? My older 2 have seen Paris and London, and they're saying like, you know what? I think Italy would be like kind of the next one, or Spain or Egypt. When we all had the discussion, I was like, Egypt for me. And my oldest was like, oh yeah, Egypt would be a good one. It took me flying across the country and being up in the Eiffel Tower to learn that my oldest boy loves tall buildings and heights. He was like, I want to go, what's the name of the tall building in Dubai? Does anybody remember it?
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about, but I don't
Yeah,
know
but so we got to see the Shard in London, and we got to see the Eiffel Tower, which are actually pretty similar. They're not that grand, but the dude loves tall buildings and loves heights. I'm like, I love heights. Like, that's part of one of the driving like, I love that about the roofing industry. I get to be on tall stuff. Like, I get it, it's not like that tall, but tall stuff all the time. And it's just kind of crazy that traveling across like literally to another country is what led me to learn that about my oldest boy. Wild. But yeah, it is. It opens up the door to them.
That's amazing. I know we both come from more humble backgrounds. Like Wisconsin Dells was my premier vacations when I was a kid growing up. I know you had, similar pathways in life. So to do things with my kids, I mean, my kids have been to the Bahamas. They've been, one of them's been to Hawaii, Mexico. I mean, I never did that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, we drove back to Louisiana to see family, which I so appreciate. That was our trip most of the time. We did Disney once, Florida once. We did some small trips, right? But man, the trips I remember were going back to see grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, and things like that. And, my parents went to Cancun the first time last summer. We took them on the first trip we've ever taken them on because my dad wanted to walk in really, really light white sand. And I said, let's go. I don't know how many years more we get to do this, that you'll be good to travel. And I said, let's go. And so it's kind of, and it's wild as a son to like then take your parents to those memories too. Like that was,
that's super cool,
man. Like I got that. Like no one can take that from me. You strip all my possessions and I can go rework for all of it. But man, watching my dad walk on a beach again and just the joy in his face, watching them walk into that room and realizing they had that room to enjoy for themselves for a week. I got that. Nobody can take that from me. What a fucking phenomenal memory. So yeah.
Yeah. Just the ability to do it too. I take my daughter to Disneyland every year. We go, and it's cool watching the commercials for it, or like listening to her talk about it with her friends and stuff, like knowing that it's happening.
Yeah.
Like she just knows, like my dad's going to take me. Like, yeah,
so I got to ask then,
year.
like what's your favorite Disney park then?
Oh man. So now that I have a kid, like without a kid, it would be Disney World. It would be because Disney World just has everything.
Okay. And then which park in Disney World?
Oh man, that's tough too. Well,
okay,
Star Wars.
So you'd want to be in Hollywood Studios.
Like, yeah,
my man,
yeah,
I'm a Star Wars person.
Star
Look,
Wars,
I love
yeah.
Star Wars. Hollywood
yeah.
Studios. Like that's
yeah,
like
that's
if you wanted the
it.
food side of thing, I get it. Epcot's cool, but for me, nothing better than
I like
than Star Wars.
Disneyland because it puts you in California. I have family in California. I used to live there. I like California a lot, but also with my daughter, it's so awesome because it's so much smaller than Disney World. Like it's convenient. We get to hit everything. We get to walk around. It's not congested. It's just better.
So does she like it?
Yeah, she
prefers Disneyland more than Disney World.
She prefers to get on a plane and go anywhere. Like she just wants to hang out and go do.
I'm just curious if she
shit.
has like a preference. Is she like, if you said, "Hey, we're going to Disney," is she going to be like
Disney or Universal? That's what we do when we go to places, or we'll do both of them sometimes.
Nice.
But when I do it, like we try to do it the right way. Like I try to eliminate. She's spoiled. She's going to be screwed when she's an adult unless she makes good money, and hopefully she does, or I can leave her some. But we do the VIP, like the tours and stuff. Like we do the no waiting in line. You know how it goes. Yeah. And even the flights there and back, like it is what it is. I'm sitting in front of the plane. Like sorry, but like my daughter's going to experience life the right way. That I didn't get to do that. And lucky for her, yeah, like you said, I bust my ass to be able to do those things.
Yeah.
So like that's how we do the trip. So she's just spoiled anyway. But yeah, she loves Disney more than any of the other ones. Like Disneyland is like her jam, and she likes. She just likes the characters. She's still into that.
Yeah,
you know?
it's fun when they're into that. So it's kind of funny because some of my kids are character, like very driven by the characters in Disney itself. Then my older ones are very like they thrills and rides and stuff like that. But we did Disneyland Paris, so we checked off.
Oh, that's
we
awesome.
checked off Paris while we were over there, man. We're a Disney
cool.
family. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Okay, like
No, I don't. There's no shame in my game either. I don't care.
I probably should have bought stock if I'd known just how much I was going to be investing in Disney otherwise. But you know, yeah, we're a Disney family, and I love it. Like we just have. I thank my wife for convincing me to do that. Because once we did it, I remember like putting the deposit down on it and thinking, no. The second I walked in that park. And saw the joy on my kids' faces and standing behind them as a father, looking at all of them with their ears on from behind and watching them look around and look at everything and the smiles. And I was like, this is the right decision.
Yeah.
And so now we want to do Japan. We want to do Disney Japan because that's a wild park, I hear. So
I have a picture of my daughter. She's hugging Winnie the Pooh at Disneyland last year. And she brought him a flower she had picked for him when she walked in. Held it, waiting to see him, gave it to him. Like, he's watching, and it's like, dude, this is so cool. And then what was really crazy was when she was really little, she used to watch a show called Elena of Avalar, and she was like 3 or 4 years old, you know? So she forgot about it. It was like nothing to her. So me and my fiance were sitting in there, and she's meeting all these princesses, and the princess from that show comes in there that they have dressed up for it, and it was nothing to my daughter. Like just taking a picture, she was just happy to take a picture. But me and my fiance are like trying to fight back tears because like we used to have to put that on Elena of Avalar to get her to stop crying so she'd relax. Like that was her soothing show, and like we became fans of the show by doing that and the songs and everything, and it just like fell out completely. And then here we are now, you know, 4 years later because we had to wait till she was old enough to start going to Disney again, and now we're like. Yeah, it was just amazing. Like you're sitting here taking a picture with that princess, and you have no idea. Like it punches us right in the gut, you know, like right in the feels. Yeah, so like it was just cool. But Disney's just the shit anyway, man. The movies are still cool. The songs are still cool. It's a happy place. Everybody there is happy. And whatever.
I do it in presentations. You've heard me do it in presentations.
Yeah.
I'll start singing bits of the song, and I look around like. I don't even care if you think I'm crazy. Like, Disney, like I grew up on Disney movies as a kid, and I still know a lot of those songs. So.
Yeah, and it was great. Yeah, it was great times.
Nice.
What are we hitting at right now before we get drop kicked? I saw 120. All right,
that's it, man. I thought we were like 15.
Time flies.
We can keep going, I guess, right?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
We got all night. Jim Mendoza's. I don't know why he's still here waiting. Yeah.
Whatever that job is, where he's just standing there, that's a good job.
Yeah,
if that's working,
that's a phony bodyguard.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
he kept me safe all day, so I appreciate that. You know?
Did he actually get on the roof with you?
No.
Good.
No.
Good. No getting on roofs for you, Jim.
Yeah.
That's right. No
the
roofs.
The doctor says no roofs. Unless you're me, then that means no roofs. So.
Yeah.
Doctor's gonna have to reevaluate their opinion if they tell me that. So.
Oh man, I don't miss climbing on them every day, but I miss them sometimes. We got a lot of content we're going to be doing on them here pretty soon, though, so that'll be fun. But.
The last time I was full time with the company, they had a full time social media person. That's Paul. He ended up leaving and then eventually working with me whenever I left. But man, that was always fun. We had just content days turned into him just following me around, and you just didn't know what you were going to find on a roof inspection. It's one of the things I loved about it. Like every experience could just be so different that you would go out and one homeowner did this problem, the other homeowner had no problems at all. And you just always saw something different that we ended up just riding around almost the entire week, the amount of content that we shoot. So I'll say this. In today's social media world, if you are in the home services business and you are not creating content internally or having a third-party company help create content, you are becoming a dinosaur. You are becoming archaic. We just live in a fast-paced world where people have this sitting in front of them. Constantly, they scroll through those things, and the buyers are only we have younger and younger buyers, or I'm just getting older and older, entering the market. Content does need to be created, and it's not that hard to create. Just step one, do something. Step two, do something better. listen to your audience. So, but yeah, content days, man, those
Yeah,
are fun.
and take from each other and grow off it. That's what I was telling people at Roof Camp. I'm like, guys, I literally make videos teaching homeowners how not to use me. And like, I'll literally put together a training teaching you how to do things better than I do them. Like, why? Well, because I want you guys to. The only way I'm going to elevate my game is by elevating you guys to that level. So then in turn, I have to learn more in order to continue to lead. That's the whole point. And you have to learn more to continue to keep up. So like, that's what we should be doing anyway. But yeah, I'm huge on the content. Plus I run all of our social media here. Like
Nice.
That's and then Revens and Will here from Spark Raw, they edit all of our stuff and run the podcast with us and put all the crazy ass ideas that I have to editing and make it sound really nice and look really nice. So we're really thankful for them.
Yeah, they do an amazing job. What are you giving us a peace sign? Are you trying to tell us 2 minutes? Oh, you love us.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. I didn't know if we were getting to some kind of time limit here or something, but
What kind of go? This will be
just turn the
there's
alarm off.
for it. Yeah, so this will technically be I think one of the longest that we have.
I'm known for setting records in that realm. So
I expected this to go.
That's
long.
why he has 5 kids.
Yeah. Well, Jesus. So see, hopefully we don't get canceled by the time this comes out. But yeah, this is why Mike's only on select episodes. But yeah, so we anticipated this one to go some length of time, and then as we know, like Deshaun's coming here on Thursday, I'm sure that's going to go a length of time too.
God,
And then
he talks. It's like smooth jazz. You just can't help but sit there and be like, "Damn, keep going!" Like you're
bro,
just, oh my
we're
God.
going live too. We're doing it on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Oh, and YouTube. Live all at the same time.
That'll
on
carry
Thursday.
long just because you'll have comments to engage with, and that'll yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That'll
It's gonna
carry
be,
long.
It'll be our first live too, so it'll be exciting. We've been waiting. He's long overdue. We started the podcast like right before we went to RoofCon to see him.
What podcasts do you guys? What other podcasts do you guys like or listen to? It doesn't have to be Roofing Space. I'm just kind of curious.
Oh, bro, I listen to so many. Kill Tony, Tim Dillon Show, Two Bear in a Cave. I'll listen to Eric Thomas's podcast. I really like. I'll listen to. I still listen to the Gary Vee Experience from time to time. A lot of comedy, man. Like a lot of comedy.
I'm a big Tom Segura fan. So
I just saw him at the United Center.
Yeah, I've seen him twice in the last year. But yeah, so I do those. Those are kind of like good like mental breaks from things. So yeah, in the space I like Eric Oberyn's. Like that's a really good one.
So I want to be on that podcast, and I want him on mine. I just got his book, but I was telling him, I'm like, dude, it sucks because the only rule we
You told him
have
his
here-
book sucks?
No. I was just telling him that I got his book, but I was telling him though that the only rule that sucks that we have at the Roof Trollz that I have for the podcast, 2 of them. One, we don't.
I have.
Well, I'm just saying the
us.
only rules that we have,
Yes.
for the fucking podcast. One is that we don't script anything, and 2, that you have to be here in person. We don't do virtuals. So that's the only reason that Becca hasn't been on. That's the only reason I can't get some of the people yet because we gotta wait until they're in Chicago.
You just got to pack it up and bring it to like RoofCon or something.
That's where we're getting to that point now.
See, you were talking about getting a RoofCon kit or not a RoofCon kit, a podcast like room. You need a traveling podcast setup is what you need.
I set an RV and get it pimped out and detailed and
There you
everything
go.
like that. I mean, if you're gonna build out a room, you might as well just get an RV for like $60,000 and
just build
deck
that
it all
thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, get sound panels in there
I
and
do
everything.
believe that we're gonna go down to Atlanta when Deshaun has his event. I do believe that Roof Trollz will be there. That will be set up. And
What
doing
about
that
the
stuff there.
IKO event?
Yeah, and then Ico has us going to Kansas City. We'll be doing that in the Monarchs Stadium there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. I think we're doing a couple people inside there that we'll be interviewing, and then some Ico reps as well. So we have those things going. I'd like to do it at a convention for sure. One of the larger ones. I don't know, maybe IRE next year or something like that. I don't know. That was cool. We went down there though. That was fun.
It's a busy one. That's
Yeah,
fun.
it
So,
is. We got a lot of good content down there too. Some shout outs and stuff that we were filming. So
what about you? Any podcasts that you like that I should keep my ears open for?
I mean, some of them aren't really podcasts, but I do like Diary of a CEO.
That's a
I can't
really
remember the
good one,
guy's
man.
name, but yeah, that's like he's like the best
So
host, I think.
smooth, very,
Yep.
very calm, very, very, and the people that he has on there, it can go so many different directions. It's not just for owners and CEOs. There's a lot to be gained from that podcast. But yeah, I really, really enjoy him.
He can
really
pull,
enjoy him. I'm gonna pull up his name because I can't remember.
Yeah,
what's
he can
bothering
pull
me.
information out of people like nobody else. Even like Joe Rogan, like I feel like he is like probably the best of the best. Because when I think of like TV show hosts, I know it's gonna sound cheesy, but like Ryan Seacrest, like he is like
Stephen Bartlett.
Stephen Bartlett.
Yep.
He is like perfect. That's how I think of Stephen Bartlett. He is like, if you're gonna learn and watch somebody, he should be the guy that you learn and watch from.
I would agree. That if you like how he's, oh man, that's a good one.
You know, I like PBD, Patrick Bet David. I like the different opinions he has on
Yeah.
the show, and he always turns everything around to, he says how this impacts the markets, because he looks at everything from a business standpoint. I don't know if you ever read any of his books or anything. I like also that he cites everything that he's speaking about. He's not like taking credit that these are all his own ideas.
No,
everything
he's very
he
good
talks
about tracing the information, so you know
Yep.
where the information's coming from.
Yes.
And I do like he has a like force in his speaking and presentations that I really enjoy. I actually, just by chance, got to introduce him when he was at Dimitri's conference a few years back. Just the time slot that I was going to be on stage, Dimitri was like, "Do you want to introduce? Can you bring up Patrick Bet David?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I listened to it. Yeah, I would love to do that, right?" And they were a little late getting him back from the airport, so I had to kind of drag my session out a little bit. Obviously, that was really tough for me. I'm uncomfortable on stages.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, I finally saw Dimitri and him over to that corner, so I got to bring him up on stage, do his introduction, shake his hand, and I, you know, in the moment, I felt like I didn't do the introduction great. It is what it is, but I actually got to meet him in person. That was a pretty cool moment for me because I'd listened to his podcast a lot. So, yeah, those are good ones. So people listen to podcasts for so many different reasons. They tend to use them for anything from education, advancement, zoning out, entertainment. There's just podcasts serve so many purposes that they can go anywhere, and everybody has their own style and flavor. And I enjoy any opportunity to be on a podcast. And it's just so fun that I've got to experience a lot of different ones because I get to see the ones that are really restructured. I've had podcasts where they send you a bunch of questions first. They tend to be my least favorite. I like these. I like the ones that are open format where we just kind of get on there. Maybe we have a topic, but we're just going to talk casually. And I think that those podcasts, you tend to really learn the nature of that person. So it's why I like both Diary of a CEO, because it just moves wherever you want to go, and Two Bears in a Cave. Like there's both are just like, one's for entertainment purposes, one you get a lot of information out of.
Well,
but
that's why we bought the mics and the stands and stuff like that is from there, because I think it's very eye appealing. And I was telling them that that's one of the few.
Oh yeah, for everybody watching, these are fake. Like this is all recorded. No, I'm kidding.
So besides Kill Tony, those two podcasts.
Sure doesn't write us a check. We're switching to somebody else. Sennheiser, give us a call.
That's right. So I'll
we'll give you guys some money for this.
That'd be great. I watch those on YouTube. Like I make a point to make sure I watch those. So like Kill Tony, I watch every week. I watch, I'll occasionally watch Tim Dillon, but I make sure that I watch the ones like Two Bears in the Cave, like, or the Bert Kreischer, What's Cooking, or whatever that he had. Like all that stuff. Like I watch that, so I make it like that's what's cool about it. So that's with the inspiration here, and then getting to know people, like you said, that's really awesome, because that's why I told Dan Walrack that I wanted Tiffany on, because I watched her podcast with Eric, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, so that's really the brains behind the operation. I was like, all right, so she like plays a large factor in that. Plus I thought the conversation they had about time management, I was like, oh, money. So I was like, is she gonna be around? He's like, yeah. I'm like, get her on there too. So we had both of them on there. So like that's what it made me, that podcast made me like her a lot more. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I didn't know anything about her. So like, that was cool. And then another little podcast I go plug too is Keeping It Real. And that's a fun one in our industry too.
Chappelle style, Keeping It Real?
No, not Keeping It Real, Keeping It Real.
Okay.
Chuck Allen in San Antonio, he has one, but it's a virtual one. But he has a lot of people. Eric was just on his show, actually. But he has a lot of people that he'll put on there because it's virtual. You can do it. It's easier. But you could learn a lot about some of the quieter people, too, in the industry that we don't really have, like, a spotlight for. And you're like, oh, shit, that guy's really cool. And he's not too far from here. Maybe we could link up and, get him on here or something like that.
Nice.
Plus, we don't do just roofers. Like, I'll put it. We're trying to spread locally now. So we just had the mayor in this town on here. I had the mayor of Hammond that was on here. We had Michael Floyd on here. There's been, outside people. We just shot 3 podcasts in the bar down there, a local place that let us shoot it inside there. Tattoo parlor coming soon. We'll be doing the one in. just anything, anybody doing cool stuff that's in our network, because I believe in building out a network really strong. So anybody who's doing anything, like, you just throw them on here. That's what it was for, because you never know what you're going to get out of the conversation.
Right.
We had a couple boring guests, but the majority of people who come on, you're like, oh, shit, man, this is really cool.
Let's not call them boring. Let's call them less engaging.
Okay.
Oh, we're not in that world anymore.
We're not using discontinued. Well, what are we saying?
To be clear, he didn't say any names, but just go back and look at how many views or likes it has or listens it has, and you're the boring ones. Okay?
Yeah, well, we have no reputation right now on YouTube, so look everywhere except for YouTube. Like Apple Podcasts, we're soaring. YouTube can't get any traction right now because we don't do any type of advertisement stuff. We're new to the YouTube. Everything else, like, we're rolling in, but yeah, YouTube is like a whole...
You gotta have good hair to get traction on YouTube.
Is that what it
Just
is?
give up now, man. Yeah.
See,
I'm sorry.
I thought maybe it was like an old person thing because, like, I always watch them on YouTube. So I thought maybe just because I'm old that's why YouTube is like, maybe that's like a thing of the past.
I watch them on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Like, it's like Apple Podcasts. Like, I have Apple
We're not
everything,
even that
and I
different
never
in
go to
age.
Apple Podcasts. Like,
Oh, that's
I've never-
90% of the
that.
podcasts I listen to is on Apple Podcasts.
I get grouchy when I am like on a plane and it doesn't have Wi-Fi and I have to like listen to a podcast in a different format other than just like playing it on YouTube.
Yep. I'm. That's why I kind of stopped listening to Ed Milet because he's only on Spotify. I think.
Yep.
That was I couldn't really find him on YouTube, and
Yep.
yeah,
No.
I don't like just the audio. I want some visual, and I don't have to watch it, like stare at it, but I have to see something every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's
Because
why
I
we
want to see
started-
body language, and like, how you got excited when we were talking about
Yeah.
the siding. Like, I like to see stuff like that, and because that just shows you how genuine the person is on the other end.
I personally enjoy that a lot, being able to see facial expressions and body language. And I also think that across the board, if you really listen closely to speakers, there's a lack of true movement in their tone, inflection, pace, volume, projection of voice. So if that is less in a presenter, I want to be able to see them more because then I can see gestures, facial expressions, body language, posture, things of that nature. There are people that move around in their presentations so much. They just have so much talent in their face, their structure, their lip movement, their vocal tones, their ranges that they're almost just soothing to listen to, that I don't need the body structure. But I'll give you a good example. Simon Senac is one of those people I could just listen to. Like, he's just such a good speaker. But watching him speak is just as fun. Like, he is very, very engaging how he speaks. So I kind of like YouTube mainly for that reason, because I get to see the people.
That's how I feel with Eric Thomas, the way you just described that. Like, Eric Thomas is good to listen to, and then he's like great to watch. 'Cause
Yeah.
just the energy is like flowing consistently.
Yeah, it takes it
That
up a
guy-
notch.
Yeah, that guy's a monster.
Takes it up a notch.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Well, it's an extra sense too. I mean, it's not just hearing, you're seeing too. So
Well, that's
you're
why we've been trying
using
to
more.
we got to do more shit to get the people to watch too, because like a lot of those podcasts that are big on watching, it's because they have like train wrecks that you're watching, or they're just like a celebrity. So it's true. Like Kill Tony, that's why you watch it. You watch it because you want to watch a bunch of amateurs get booed off of a stage, and then you're hoping that one or two of those 50 people that go up
Right.
there are going to be the shit. And then he's turned people into. If you follow that comedy scene, that whole network is awesome anyway. What Joe Rogan and them are doing, and Netflix backing them, and how they're changing, they're taking people out of a cancel culture and then giving them new platforms, and then now we're embracing the awkwardness, and then him creating that club and allowing them to go there and have a space where they're provided, where they can give a live audience, sample bits. It's essentially making them stronger comedians and
Right.
better. And like, if the world needs anything right now, it's to laugh. So like, I love what they're doing down there, and it just makes that dynamic makes it that much more interesting. And that's why I like all the podcasts that I listen to is like around that same network of guys, because it's so fun right now.
I just had something dawn on me. So when we have our less engaging guests, we're gonna make them do something like some push-ups, jumping jacks, or some burpees or something. Get their heart rate going a little bit, and I guarantee you they'll be more engaging as soon as that's over. Just something to get them moving around. Because sometimes they just sit here all stiff, and like, I can't even sit still. Like, I want to get up and bounce around when we're talking. Like,
Well, we've done
this is
some
like
things, though.
restraining for me. Like, I feel
We made some drinks. We ripped some Pokemon cards. We have some cool things coming up. So like the Derek that used to work with Malarkey, he was a fighter. He has his golf. He holds a pro card for golf, and he opened up an actual private simulator thing, then you have to have a pro card to even go in there.
Oh, wow.
He's going to it's for them to practice on their
Right.
own, will not mess with anybody, tweak their game. But I suck at golf, by the way. And he's going to let us do a podcast with him in there with like wireless mics and stuff. So I think that'll be a fun one to watch on YouTube,
Right.
like going in there and watching me, play with a guy with a pro card and shoot plus 50 or something. That'll be, yeah. Bro, I suck. I mean, John, I'm telling you right now, like I suck.
But I want
at
to see you
golf.
fight him.
Oh, no, I'll get my ass whooped too. We got a guy who did Bellator on our team right now. He had a baby recently, and I'm like Robert Downey Jr. in the Avengers. I like keep poking at him. He's the sweetest, nicest teddy bear ever. His name's Eddie. We call him Eddie Bear. He's like super nice. But he was a Bellator fighter, huge ass fucking dude, and I just love talking shit to him because he won't fight me,
Nice.
It's amazing. But yeah, no, I like it, dude. I like that you have, like you're down to earth outside of the camera. So like you're not, because we've had some people, not necessarily on the Roof Trollz, but we've had some people we've interacted with, and you see them outside and you talk to them, and you're like, fuck, dude, I really like this guy. He's so boring. Like I'm sorry. People are like that. I'm sorry. When I shake your hand and I meet you and we chit chat for a little bit and then I walk away and I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I was really, I don't know what the good term would be. I don't know if it would be confused, but one of the first events I ever seen you at, and this was a while ago, like you had like too much energy for like what you were talking about. Like it was kind of like, I wasn't sure how to take you. I'm like, this guy's, charismatic. I mean, he's got a little bit of a flare up there. Like, and he's talking about shingle repairs. Like, am I missing something here? Like, what is going on here? I'm like, all right. And then I seen you at a few more events, and I'm like, all right, this all makes sense now. But yeah, I mean, it's like you bring like a certain energy and, like I said, flair. And I hope you don't take that.
I don't.
In a derogatory. There's something to,
yeah.
And like it kind of like I was shocked. Like I didn't get it, and now I get it.
CRCA is where we first met you. We went there with a company we were at, and you were doing an event there in the CRCA.
Oh yeah. Yep,
and when we walked in there, we had just. Dude, it's so stupid. So we were at a company, and they sent us down to Indianapolis. So I go down to Indianapolis. I'm chasing that 4-inch storm.
Yep.
We end up in Cloverdale. You know Cloverdale. So we end up there, sign a whole bunch of shit, dude. It's basically working in a trailer park. It's only like 6 streets long. That's all Cloverdale really is. So I'm in there. We clean it up.
Shout out to Cloverdale.
Shout out Cloverdale. We pull almost $3 million out of Cloverdale. The company we're at, all the managers are like pissed at us because they're like, dude, it's trailers. You're in Cloverdale, blah, blah, blah. So we get to your training, and I've heard it all day. And I'm like, dude, whatever, man. You guys just don't understand what's going on out there. That's why you think it's not as serious as I'm telling you. Like, the hail is ridiculous, dude. This is before any adjustments were ran or right after adjustments were ran. And they're like coming back because of shit policies on some of the mobile homes, metal roofs and all that stuff. And the very first interaction we have with you, I'm sitting down next to my sales manager. And the very first thing you're like, hey, did anybody remember the hail that came down in Indianapolis? Was anybody fortunate enough to come across Cloverdale? And then I had a picture and I showed you and I was like, yeah, this was the hail that was in Cloverdale. It was part of your like training thing. And I was just turning around to the guy. I'm like, see, you're fucking wrong. Like, it was just like, yeah, I was like, I love this guy, and then you had a good personality and stuff, but that was my first interaction with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's awesome.
So you actually experienced something that a lot of people experience, that you're kind of pre-programmed for how that information should be delivered. So you've been through, manufacturers trainings and product trainings and this, that, and the other, and they just lack depth, charisma and things of that nature. So you had a lot of experience that said the charisma shock or just the presentation shock, like you couldn't really it's almost like you can't process. You're like, no, this is supposed to be like this style because you've had this pre-programmed, concept of what that should look like. Whereas somebody that's going to be younger.
And you didn't look like a guy who would get on roofs and do roof repairs or anything too. That's why I'm like, who is this guy? Like he gets up on roofs and does like these repairs and and then I'm like,
my wife actually, this is funny how this all progressed. She gave me wonderful advice that I should look maybe a little more like professional. So we got a few sport coats and things like that. I bought some more like Cole Haan dress shoes and all. And she said something to me that no man would ever be able to say to their wife ever in the history of communicating with your wife. And she said, you are getting older and you are presenting to younger crowds and you may want to look younger. And I thought if there was ever a time in my life where I went to my wife and said, you're getting older and you should look younger, that I'd probably sleep couch at best, but maybe outside, right? But she was right. I actually did have a phase where I was a little overdressed for what I was presenting, and I wasn't comfortable. You know, I'm good in my Jordans, a t-shirt, and jeans or some whatever comfortable pants to go do those presentations. And I do think it makes it easier for people to connect. Anywhere from somebody that's been in it 20 years and is like, oh, this guy's not a roofer, you know, or somebody that has been in it their first year and experiencing it for the first time. There is a barrier, and it's one I can't overcome quickly. But there is a barrier for people who've been to a lot of roofing things and a lot of technical things and a lot of, you know, like and they hear things that are construction related, repair related, application related, that it just doesn't fit the first time until they really learn more about who I am. And I think that that's what happened to you. Once you learned a little bit more about me, saw me, and you're like, oh yeah, he does know his stuff.
Yeah.
This is just how he's built this way. And you know what? I can digest this information this way.
The 2 to 7 minute thing makes more sense now, thinking that through, and then you're self-conscious of that. So, I mean, that's important too, when you're up there. And
to have that in the back of your brain running is a different level of multitasking. Like to know you have this mental clock running, to know time for another one, got to get the plug. So it's almost this mental clock and a reading of the room to know that you got to drop that other one and get, yeah.
I mean, do you ever see someone sitting in the room and they're looking like they're, and then you just...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've done exactly what I said in your office today. I've seen the person completely out and I didn't catch them like asleep, which is a true testament to their life, not my speaking abilities. And you know, I'll be like, "Hey, everybody who's awake, raise their hand." And I said, "Now find the person that's asleep." And the whole room starts cracking up, and that person kind of like they can tell we went from this soothing, consistent tone of speaking to now there's like this chatter and laughter going around, and they kind of like, and they realize like everybody's looking at them. It's a funny moment. I've also had ones where I've been presenting, and this is kind of a savage move, and they're asleep. And I go up to them and I'll be like, fortunately, this guy already has this down. I'll put my hand on their shoulder and they'll kind of like peek up. I'm like, it's why he skipped this part, because he knows this piece so well that he didn't need this part. And this guy is using his time best, right? He's making sure he doesn't double down on any information and repeat it, so he can be awake for this next part that I'm getting ready to go into, because this is the part he really came for. Like, I've done that in class.
Yeah. Well, you called him out and slightly embarrassed them, but then you didn't really like wound their pride. I guess Jim left, so we'll have to find out who that was sleeping in the class and have a talk. Devin, we're going to have a talk with Jim. It's not Devin's fault he fell asleep. It's Jim's fault. Yeah. Because he's their sales leader. So, you know, Jim's in trouble now.
No, that wasn't today.
Oh, I thought that was today.
Saying, no, this is a different presentation that I've actually done that in a full room with over 100 people.
You saw someone falling asleep today, though.
Today, well, the guy with the sunglasses I was curious about, and there was one guy that literally on the first break, he was like
yeah, that was Devin.
During the break.
He literally was like, I can't do this anymore. I got to get a few minutes of sleep, and he just crashed out.
Nobody could sleep last night. I guess Revens only had 1 hour of sleep. Look at her. She
just woke up
out too. Yeah, I just woke her up. But everybody was up last night, I guess. The excitement, you know, it's like Santa Claus coming to town. John Senac, you know, he's coming up from down south.
Oh man, I need to do that. I need to do that around the holidays. I'd be like Shingle Santa Claus.
Shingle Claus?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Claus.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to need a special like coat for that and everything that looks like shingles and all.
We need to put together some cool, like, well thought out skit that we have time to think about. I did not know that you're that close, bro. If you're in Indianapolis, like, we could literally do something. Yeah. We could do something. We have to go down there. Do you know JJ and TJ?
I don't think
Albert and Beard. JJ Beard.
Oh yeah, I know who they are. Yeah.
Oh, you know those guys?
I do know who they are.
Okay.
So we're going.
I may have like
there.
no connection to them. Like I don't ever.
Oh, okay. We're gonna go shoot a podcast, hopefully down there in their new office that they built up. And then there's another guy, Nate, that I want to go down. He's in Indianapolis too. He wrote like a children's book actually, like picking the best contractor. But he used.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude. He used the 3 Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, but it was 3 contractors. And Goldilocks had to get a roof replaced. And I was like, bro, that's like really awesome. I met him at IRE, and and he's like, yeah. I'm like, man, that's really cool. I'm like, you'd be like a great guest on there, but unfortunately, you know, we don't do any virtual or anything like that. He goes, yeah. He goes, that sucks, man. He goes, I'm all the way in Indianapolis, and I'm like, what? I'm like, bro, I'm in northern Indiana.
Short drive, if that's the case.
Yeah, you could shoot 2 and come back in the same day.
Well, I'll let you know when I'm ready for you guys to record my song parodies. So that's when we're ready to go.
I'll paint my brother like the genie. because we did the Aladdin skit too, and then you did one where you're singing on
Oh,
the
I
roof.
did that song parody on a roof, and Paul just happened to capture that. That was kind of funny. I didn't even mean for that to be captured. I literally was just like, yeah, no, that was pretty funny.
We could
that
get
one
you
panned
doing
out.
that and have my brother come back as the genie, and Angelo played Aladdin in our skit, and that would be really fun.
That would work.
That would be really
We
fun.
could do that. But no, I have a whole song parody to Gangster's Paradise called Roofer's Paradise. So
It's funny
we haven't
because
had no time to record it yet.
The other parody
did
for
it
that
live
song is one
into
of my
it.
favorites.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Amish
Yeah,
Paradise, you
that
have
was
to
pretty
respect
funny,
that, yeah.
especially in Indiana. You have to respect that one.
100%.
But yeah, no, I have a whole song parody of that. I did it in a BNI meeting when I was still in BNI because I just got tired of doing like the same 5-minute type of presentation. So I did a 3-minute song parody of Gangster's Paradise called Roofer's Paradise that kind of explained a day in the life. I still have it recorded. I still have all the words. And
Was it a freestyle?
No, I wrote the words
okay.
out beforehand, but yeah, I did this whole thing.
Just imagine you pull up, it's all slow motion. You get out of the car, you're doing the song, and then we come out with the ladders hanging from, hold the ladder.
Shook, as I
hammers
walked
carrying down,
to the house to put my ladder in place. I take a look at the angle. Yeah, no, I literally did a whole bit on it. Yeah, I've got it.
Dude,
so
that's so awesome. That music video would be so fire. Just get. Honestly, you go a notch above, just get like 10 different contractors, and you're doing the song, and then everybody's just pulling up in different scenes. They're hammering stuff. They're all riding in like it's a big, just like a thugged out clique, but we're all contractors of different sorts, and they got slow motion walk ups.
And there's some funny scenes from the original video too that, where he's like sitting there leaned over and everything and like the kind of the smoke type of aspects to it and all. There's some funny scenes that we could duplicate from the original music video too. We just haven't had time. So our goal is to shoot it this summer. So
that would be amazing.
But yeah,
man.
I have like 3 or 4 others that I've redone. I did a door knocking one. Again, I like playing guitar, so I'll do parodies. Like my 8-year-old loves to change the words to songs. I was always the person who loved to change the words to songs. So
well, I'm a huge
huge Weird Al fan. So
I'm a movie buff, so like we do skits based off that, and we try to correlate them in the roofing. And if I can connect the two of them, then we go off and do them. Like we did Friday. We did if Michael Myers wanted a new roof. We've done Aladdin. We've just done so many different ones.
You're in roofing when you watch a movie and you tell everybody in the room what shingle is on that house.
Oh, yeah.
It's a number one indicator that you've been in this industry maybe a little too long. Is when you're watching a movie with your kid and they don't care, and you go, "That's Certainty's presidential shingle right there."
Hang on. I got to get my thought on this one. I know this has to aggravate you when you watch a movie, and let's say that they're like supposedly in the 60s and 70s.
Yes!
And they have laminate shingles. I know that's got to drive you nuts.
You're like,
then.
no, they didn't have laminate shingles then. This house is not from the 60s.
That's
like,
what-
you guys, you done messed up. Hey, Ron, they would not have put that shingle. It didn't exist in that time. Like,
Everything's perfect, but
all
the
the research you did, you went and brought in all these antique cars, and you couldn't get 30 fucking squares of 3-tab shingle to put in this roof for this movie. You put on a shingle that started being produced in the 90s for this 60s movie. Your research team failed you on the house on 40%. For homeowners who didn't know this, the shingles are 40% of the road curb appeal of the average household out there. So for 40% of the curb appeal of the home in that movie, they messed up royally. Great job, guys.
I love noticing stuff like that too. It's so cool. I remember season 4 of Game of Thrones. There's a Starbucks cup at the end of the bar.
Well, that's just a blooper. That was a straight up like, and here's how that probably went down.
Oh, someone got fired.
I bet for at least the day, if not weeks, people were like, there was a gambling pool or a bet who could get a Starbucks cup in the shot, right? And just slide it by. So someone had to set that thing down and then move it so they didn't realize it was there. And be like, wait, how long has that been there? We need to reshoot all the way back to that thing. So, like, I guarantee you there was an internal bet from the staff, from the actors and actresses. Like that had to be like a gimmick, a joke. Like, that had to be, there's no way that just accidentally got there and accidentally got moved. They accidentally didn't reshoot that whole thing. So,
it's still awesome.
But yeah, dude, that bothers the shit out of me.
I knew it.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. Well, you brought it up when you were talking about
when you're watching
movie
movies
and looking at the roof, and then I'm like, you know what? And I can't remember. There's been some recent ones when they do like the retro movies, and you go back and they're like, wait a second here.
Those
Those shingles didn't exist back
doesn't
then.
add up.
But we're the only ones who would catch that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's
Or if you go
probably
back
not
to-
very many people who are going to catch that.
You ever go back to the places you used to live at and see the houses before you knew shit about what you're doing right now?
Yeah.
And then realize how many fucking aluminum houses you were living in, 3
Yep.
tabs, stuff like you just had no idea about it.
Yeah, I drove my kids past the house that I grew up in, and I was like, oh my God, this is a whole street of aluminum siding. You're thinking to yourself like, and I know this address, and all the years I've been in this industry, I never came to my old neighborhood and like knocked doors. I don't know. There's so many little thoughts like that you run through. So, oh man, God, this has been fun. We've been all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been great. What is your favorite shoe, by the way? Because I like that you wear J's. I saw you in the purple and gold ones.
So I'm a Jordan 1 person.
Yes, it's my favorite shoe.
By far the Jordan 1s. I wear a lot of the mids and the lows. I just don't look great in the highs, but I wear a lot of the mids and the lows. This actually is one of my favorite. These are the special edition ones. The SEs usually have like the open cut at the top, and you can see the foam and the insides and everything. They're stitched different instead of this being stitched. So there's just little things they do different on these. But yeah, you can see like I've worn out the bottom of these soles probably more than any other pair that I have. Although someone sent me a pair of Retro 3 cements. I love those things. I did not realize I love those things. But I do love those things. So
I feel like the ones are the most wearable ones. Like you could actually like function in your day to day. Because some of them, I'm a huge J's person. Like Adidas and J's, like that's my shit. But some of them are just not like the flights. You're not going to climb roofs in flights. Like they're not comfortable. The fours,
fours also have that plastic tab coming off the back, and if you're on angles at all in those things, it's just poking you in the back of your leg. Like I don't like fours on flights. Because like if you're on an airplane, your foot's out in front of you, you're just like it's poking the back of your leg and stuff. So
how did he play in those?
I don't know.
They custom make them.
I know they have to.
And we all know that the $150 pair of Jordans that we buy are not sold and fitted like the pair that were sitting in the locker room for Jordan to put on. There's no way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they break those in for them, and then they put padding in them and all that stuff.
Because what age did he retire?
35.
35.
Well, he came back
at 40.
Right.
Washington
So that
years,
means that dude was playing basketball in those shoes at my age. Okay.
Well, think about
at my age.
People were
there's
playing
no
basketball
way
in Chuck Taylors.
Okay. That was when
know.
that was like the best of the technology, though. Okay. Like but you think of all the technology in the market. I don't think I could play basketball in these guys. I have flat feet. That's why they're comfortable with me, is they're not heavy on arch support. But as an athlete, I got to imagine they had his shoes had to be.
This was advanced
beefed up.
technology. Remember, I was around in the 80s. That was advanced technology.
Oh, yeah. When these came out.
Yeah, that was like a big deal. I think the Concords are probably the best. For comfort and look and everything.
Yeah, that's
a good pair.
I like the ones, and then my other second favorite shoe that's outside of the J's is the Air Tempos, actually, that Scotty had. The black with the white on the air on the side with the bubbles in the back of them. I love that shoe, too.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Pippen wore those. Alonzo wore those. There's a lot of
Penny wore them, too.
Penny wore them.
Chuck.
Yep. There's a lot of people that wore those. Didn't they just bring those back?
Yeah, but they're not the same.
No, they're not the same.
Yeah, they
but
have
like
a different type of the whole bottom and the back of the shoes.
The aesthetics,
different,
but it said Air down the side of them.
Yeah,
I
have
remember
the purple, the new ones, the retro purple with black ones. Lonzo actually has the coolest shoe right now. Those are the coolest shoes out there right now. Are the Lamellos? I'm sorry, the Lamellos.
I was going to say,
Lonzo,
not Alonzo Mourning. Like, there's no way.
Lamellos. Yeah, they're so fun.
Yeah.
His shoes are like very creative.
Those
What I need-
Slimer Kobe's.
Those are cool too.
Hey,
I don't know what I'd wear them with, but I mean, that's why I haven't bought a pair.
But just those
anybody
cool.
listening to this podcast who wants to take on a task because you're just like, you know what, John did this one favor for me or helped me with this situation, and you're just like, I really want to give him a gift. I need you to find somebody to take a Jordan top and put it on a Cougar paw sole. That's what I need.
Oh man.
The
Like
problem
they do
is
with the cleats and all that stuff.
the problem is
it's not deep enough.
in a Cougar paw, I generally wear a 13. In my shoe, I wear a 14. So, like, I don't know if they could get it. I think you'd still have to get the 13 Cougar paw and put the 14 and trim back whatever leather. But yeah, I need somebody to take the top of a Jordan and put it on a Cougar paw so I can have Jordan paws.
Well, the only reason I don't think that's going to be possible for you said you're wearing a 14 in those.
Yep.
You get them a little oversized because they aren't the most comfortable shoes.
Yep.
Cougar paws, you want them really snug.
Tight.
Yeah,
So that's what I mean. Like,
That's-
can I get it? Would I be just slip around in it too much?
yeah. I don't know if you're gonna be able to do. You're gonna have to wear some snug, tight Jordans on.
Maybe I do need highs in that situation to get just a little bit more up and on the ankle support. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
So anybody looking for a creative gift idea that'll just wow me? Someone's already sent me custom painted Jordans, like, so that's not going to wow me. But if you manage to get Jordan paws to happen, if you got a shoesmith that can do that, you know my sizes. Message me. I will send
So
you
you
my
would
address.
hollow out the sole. You'd probably have to put some kind of
you take this
plate
stitch off.
underneath there.
You take this stitch off on this side because this curls under and everything. You take this off and then this pulls under, and then you'd have to re-stitch it and adhere it to the sole of a cougar paw.
I think you guys are overcomplicating. I think they would just take the cougar paw and they would peel it and just they would redo the shoe without ever stripping down an actual pair of J's. They would just redo it to make it look very similar. There would be some tweaks to it, but in the grand scheme of things, they would do differently because that's what they're doing in college right now. They're doing that with the ones on the cleats. So they have the actual retro one style on the cleats there, and that's what Nike did. Is they just took the cleats.
Yeah,
Or
but
if
there's
you
a
could
lot of
just-
baseball players, so they're going to sell out. Timu might have those.
But say you could find something on Fiverr.
Trying to
too.
knock off, take a pair of.
Well, what do you care if
Jordans?
it's a knockoff or not?
Yeah.
It's cougar paws.
No, I'm talking about the Jordans. Get a pair of knockoff Jordans and just mess around with in your garage.
I can
Yeah.
tell you, Mike's not going to do it. Like you're not going.
Oh, I'm definitely not gonna do it.
No. I'm saying
That's why-
Michael Jordan. He's definitely not.
no,
going to do
he's
that
not
for
going
you.
to do it. No, Nike's not going to do it for me.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Cougar Paw's not going to do it for me. Actually, I wonder if Cougar Paw would do it for me.
Those 10-year-olds that are in that basement are not going to do that for cougar paws. So we're going to have to figure out somebody else to like make the leather and put it on there.
It's two different groups of kids assembling the shoes, and they probably have some beef, So
There's still a shoe repair shop in Aurora at the Fox Valley Mall.
Wow.
Still.
See, that's what
I
you need.
still
You
take
need
stuff
an
over there every
old
once in a while when I
school
can't get
shoe.
my stuff cleaned.
Oh my.
yeah, see, that's what I need. I need an old school shoe place because I have 3 pairs of Cougar Paws, and so I've got one that's pretty lightly used, and I've got different pairs of Jordans. I could sacrifice a pair. So
Well, send them to me. Let me go ask him one of these days if he can do
literally
it.
just show him a Cougar Paw and see what he thinks,
Yeah.
and maybe a Jordan.
I'll bring him a pair of mine and bring him a pair of Jordans and say, hey, could you
Do you think
make
you could do
in
this? If
one?
he says yes, I'll mail you the shoes, and then just
I'm
tell
not
me
as
what the
cool as you. I
price
don't
is.
wear 13s and 14s.
Dude, if he says yes,
so I can't help you.
If he says yes and you get those made and you have, oh my god!
Oh, believe me, they're
that
gonna-
shoesmith's about to be. He's about to have to open up an outlet mall. He's gonna be in business.
they're going to be in the Roofer's Paradise video. Trust me, if I have Jordan Paws,
Yeah, you have to.
yeah,
You have to. It's
Yeah.
not even.
I
it's
may
not
just
even
run over there
debatable.
tomorrow and ask him
ask the
if he'll
question.
do
dude.
that.
Let me know. I want to.
He's been there
I
forever.
want to know.
I
Yeah.
saw a bunch of people branding Jordan, and when we went to door con, there was a lot of people that were wearing Jordan like pullovers that had their brands on it and stuff
Yeah.
like that with Jordan's logo on there. I mean, I know they just bought it and embroidered or whatever, but still, it's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, especially in this area, I think
Until
it's a
Nike
good.
sees
You
you
need to
in
start
it, but
getting.
it's still cool.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I have shirts that it has the Pringles logo that says Shingles. So as long as we're not profiting from it, I'm gonna, say we were ignorant to the whole thing. We don't know how
you
it
definitely
happened.
don't sell those, and you didn't offer to sell those to the teams.
No, not at all.
100%.
Oh no, that's terrible.
So what are your thoughts on having John put the helmet on? We haven't had anyone put on the helmet in a while.
It's been
Are
a
you
while.
willing to
Is this our sign
fuck
off?
up your,
we put on the
no,
hair?
I just want to see you.
I want to be crystal clear. The question he was getting asked: are you willing to fuck up your hair? To be crystal clear, I spoke all day. We were out in the field on the drive from here, from the office to the field. I put on my wonderful red laser cap that helps with blood flow. So I had this patted down with a hat, took it off, ran my hands through it, went in the field. Nobody knew that I'd pressed down my hair, so there's nothing that messes up my hair.
Wow.
This may be the thing that puts it to the test. So let's find
Yeah,
out.
I'd say that
You may
take
need to
this
keep
off
the
and it-
headphones on because it's pretty big. We haven't had too many people that it fits on snugly except for Eddie Bear.
See, I fortunately have a very large head, so like my eyes line up just fine. I get it; it's a little wobbly, but if I had the headset on, I wouldn't be able to, like, it would be like up here because of that. So is it a good look?
I mean, just
Yeah,
think if he
dude,
had
you
no
look like a
shirt on,
fucking
he'd be
warrior.
like
Like,
super sexy.
should I walk in a bank with this?
Yeah.
Like, would the bank appreciate this or?
I think so.
If this
Yeah,
was
maybe.
available during COVID, this would have been my mask.
I was about to say, yeah, it depends on if you tell people.
Sir, I need you to keep your mask on. I need you to put a better mask on, right? Like,
That would be awesome.
God, why was this not available? It breathes too because it's got the leather up top to keep you away from the hard actual helmet. Did you have this custom done?
That's his
No,
mask.
it's mine. Actually, one of our partners, Jeff, got
Oh,
that for me for
now I can
Christmas.
taste you a little bit now that you say
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
My tongue just hit the
I've
metal on
only
the
worn
front.
it one time.
I don't know
actually,
if that's awkward or not, but
no, I don't think so. No, no.
I can't see this, so I've actually got to see what this looks like here.
Will made sure Reven's got up and got pictures of it.
Oh, this is going on stories right here. Oh man, this is great. This is great. Look, we'll do a full podcast circle this side right here. And we'll loop this over to this side over here. And that's going to hit stories right there. So, God, I may need this. So, I can see where
We may have to,
Show
barter
to-
with you for training next year. Maybe,
Show-
maybe
show-
we'll trade you the helmet for training next year, huh?
show up to adjuster meetings in this.
Oh, dude, that would be so funny.
This is just my helmet I wear in case I fall off roofs. My mom makes me wear it. I get it. It's dorky. Not a lot of people wear helmets. This is just my safety precaution. So I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to bear with it. Okay.
Just tell
So
me you're blocking out the 5G signal.
yeah. Yep. Yeah. This is keeping the aliens from penetrating my brain too. Like my family's very, very. They're on every stereotype you could think out there and all these, hypotheses and doomsday and all that. So I just got to wear this helmet, okay? Also, I know where you live. Don't mess with me.
That would be awesome. I don't know how the adjusters would react to that, but yeah, that would be
getting heavy, huh?
funny.
I just want to mess it up.
Imagine at 90 degrees, though. That would
Could you? I
suck.
just can't imagine, like, God, the days that people had to wear armor and stuff that weight.
And it's hot outside.
Yeah,
too.
those were
That's what I'm
men.
saying,
Like those
80
were
or 90,
those were
yeah.
men. Like
Yeah.
I feel pathetic wearing that for 2 minutes to think that people would wear that for full on battles and to just like be on horseback on guard and everything else like that. Like I feel a little pathetic now.
Or just stand there for 8 to 10 hours.
Exactly. You're just there at the front of the castle with that fucking helmet on and you could do it all day. Good for them.
Yeah. Steak, potatoes, eat, breed, and kill. That's all they knew.
Yeah.
What a life.
God, you'd have to have a lot of that breed part in there to be able to do that all day.
a lot of wine, too.
Jeez. Well, that they were not short of at all. Not short.
That's so awesome.
God.
That's that helmet would be ridiculous on like a 10-12. That would suck. But you look so cool, though. On a goat, with that helmet on, you look really cool, like sunset in the background, and you're climbing up the goat with that. Dude, that would be a cool poster.
Hey, what are the chances we could find an adjustment tomorrow and send him out
Mm-hmm.
on it
Oh,
with
man,
that on?
Just
And
send him out
we'll
to an
record.
adjustment anyway would be cool.
Yeah.
That's what we should have done. Why didn't we think like that? That's what we should have
If there's
done.
one to finish the day, I mean,
Yeah, we should have had you run one. and
problem
let-
is they're
well,
not fond of being recorded, so you kind of have to record it
Yeah.
discreetly.
Also, they're probably not fond of 20 people rolling up on an
Yeah.
adjustment as well. So
Yeah. Excuse me, 27 of us have questions about why you said no here. So if you could we're going to work
One at a time.
oldest to youngest, okay? Unless
just
you want to do
assign
like
them, yeah.
male first, female first, but otherwise we're going to work oldest to youngest. So
how many
I'll
hail
start.
hits did you say per square? Because each one of you guys is going to go find one hail hit. Go find one and circle it and stand by it.
Well, this is perfect. So you need 8. All right. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to have everybody find one and then that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
God, man.
I could see the
Explaining-
picture of like 20 people on the roof staying hail.
Oh, I don't even know if it would be able to support it. These old ass roofs out here. Do you guys run into a lot of decking issues out in Indy?
Yeah. It just depends on where you are. I mean, any place that's been newly developed, everything that hit the 2001 to 2006 boom, it has decking that was cut short, has builder's gap, has stuff that was slightly done wrong, maybe. Everything that was built, 80s and 90s,
It's all 3/8.
has 3/8 decking. And then you start getting into the more 80s side of things. Before that, you have planks. So, same stuff. It just depends on how old the area, city, the type of buildings that were in there. You get some of the pockets around Indianapolis. You have a ton of those old buildings. Hell, downtown Bloomington, where I'm at, there's a lot of old buildings that are on the old traditional lumber.
Oh, you live in Bloomington?
Yeah, truly 2x4,
Nice.
right? Like a full 2-inch by 4-inch board and stuff like that. That shit's got planks on it. Okay.
Wait, you're in downtown Bloomington?
I'm north.
You ever go to Upland
Yeah.
Brewery? Okay.
Yeah. It's a good brewery.
Used to go back in the Chasing Beer days, drive all the way down there to pick up their sours, and they release them once a year.
Oh, yeah. Their sours were a good hit. I kind of forgot about that, but their sours were a good hit. But no,
My brother-in-law lives in Bloomington. He works works actually on campus there. He's got multiple degrees
nice.
too in there, but he works with doing whatever he does at university. Sorry, James, I have no idea what you're doing. Happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah, he's only
birthday,
visited
James.
universities at Notre Dame. That's about it.
Yeah,
All right. That's
Yeah.
fine. Are you a Notre Dame fan?
we are season ticket holders.
We, like, you and me?
Me, Mike, Angelo.
Nice.
Were you trying to slide yourself in there?
No.
Is that what you? Oh, I thought
No,
that's where
I-
you were
Not
going.
you. No, you're Louisiana, LSU, right?
Hate Notre Dame.
Oh, you. Oh,
Just-
Revens, cut this off now. We're done with him.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
Deeply do not.
hate?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
So
He's like, no, let me get out of here first.
what I didn't like was, and this is my pet peeve for Notre Dame. Okay, and you'd have all these IU people that were IU basketball fans, Notre Dame football fans, because IU basketball was good, Notre Dame football was good, right? And it just seemed like, well, that's easy, right? Like, I don't understand the logic there. Like, are you Catholic? Or like what? Like, what's the logic there? Okay. Well, then, IU sports kind of got it all flipped around. Notre Dame went through the various different things. But my God, that coach you had the last coach you had was just terrible. I made fun of Notre Dame fans.
Oh, Brian
because
Kelly?
That coach is
Yeah.
terrible.
He
Arguably
was.
the worst coach in football. So for, what was it, 3 years? 4 years you had him?
I don't know, but you have him now.
My sole responsibility in life in college football was to make fun of the fact that guy was your coach if you were a Notre Dame fan. And boy, did that backfire, because now he's LSU's coach.
Yep.
Never in my wildest dreams would I have guessed that LSU would have brought the worst coach in football. LSU and Kelly, if you, by any chance, anybody that's an LSU fan and this makes it back to him, you're a terrible coach. You're awful. You should stop coaching the second you walk on a field. You don't understand how to manage a game, manage time. You don't understand how to motivate players. And look, I'm not a coach. You can say I'm a Monday morning quarterback all you want, but you've made some piss poor decisions, multiple teams in a row that you've worked for. So you're terrible. At some point, this is your year, man. This is it. You have your team finally. This is your chance to capture and close. I have little faith. As a diehard fan, I'm hoping it works. But I have little faith it'll happen. So I'm just curious what alumni group's going to buy out your fat-ass contract to get your pathetic coaching skills passed on to somebody else.
Wow. He is an amazing recruiter, though.
God, incredible recruiter. So he has all of his recruits now.
Yes.
So what happened when that happened at Notre Dame?
Well, his play calling's just shit.
But what happened when he finally had his team at Notre Dame?
They did okay.
Didn't get there, though.
No, Notre Dame always kind of comes up short now. It's been a while.
Yeah.
88.
If you look at the last couple of years, and now he finally has his
Oh,
team,
we're trending up now.
I don't think it's going to get there.
No,
Oh, at
probably not.
LSU?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know about LSU, but Notre Dame, we got to.
You guys look great right
I'm
now.
excited about Carr coming in.
And I do like that coach that you have now.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Marcus
yeah.
Freeman. Yeah, but we got a young quarterback in there in Carr now that we're actually developing for the first time ever. We're not going through a fucking portal. We got lucky with Sam Hartman. I liked Riley, but he was a runner, not a passer. So we're gonna finally get a quarterback. Plus the NIL deals. We got $20 million coming
Yep.
because we stayed private.
Yep.
Ran the tables, gambled on ourselves, and paid off big.
Yep.
We should be buying a championship here in the next 2 years. We better.
You guys-
and the best running back in football.
Yeah,
Jeremiah
you guys-
Love is the best running back in college football this
You guys
year.
look good. So, no, I jokingly have to hate you guys. I did hate that coach and still hate that coach and love to make fun of that coach. But I have a son who is very convinced he's going to go to Purdue. And so he's very anti-Notre Dame. So I'm just being a supportive father. And, it happened that I got to make fun of the worst coach in football in that time frame as well. So
I love Notre Dame, dude. I love the experience. They're just going to those games. Honestly, and I love Wrigley Field too. Notre Dame games are better than anything in my opinion. To me, it's the most fun. Walking through that campus.
you're biased.
Hanging out with all the tailgaters, the little breweries that they have, all the buildings that they're doing. They're building that all up around South Bend right now. It's just, dude, it's gorgeous.
Are either one of you sports traveled? Been to various different stadiums? Do you have
a
some-
few, but not nothing crazy, but a few.
I have one. I've been to a bunch of places, but one that will kind of be I don't know what you want to call it. So when I go to Bears games on the road, I'll wear my Bears stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bears travel pretty well, right?
Yeah, oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, I've been to Dallas. It's like 60-40 Cowboys, Bears fans. Like, anywhere you go, there's probably at least 30% Bears fans. So I think this was 2010 or 2011. My buddies and I, we decided to go to Oakland.
Oh.
And we wore our Bears stuff. There was probably 12 people in the whole stadium wearing Bears stuff. And at one point, we're in line waiting to get beers, and some gangbangers, I don't know what they were saying to us. I don't know what they were doing, but some old black guy grabs me and him and says, "You're with me," a Raiders guy, whatever. And we talked to him. He was from Vegas and everything. And yeah, it was really weird. Like, I had never felt. I mean, we survived and everything. There's only a couple ways into the stadium. Like, like, and the cops are like all roided out. Like, they're all like 6'7", like Jack, because I'm sure there's all kinds of craziness going there. But yeah, that was the craziest sports experience. I've heard Philly's pretty bad, but Oakland, when the Raiders were there, because that'll never happen again. But yeah, that was the craziest one I've ever had, was going to Oakland, wearing all my Bears stuff, and being one of about 12 people who had Bears stuff on there.
Yeah.
In the whole stadium.
That's nuts. Yeah, I think it's fun to like travel if you happen to be in those cities and go to different stadiums, go to different events. So yeah, but I've never done Oakland. Not
you won't be able to now.
Yeah, no. But I have been in their new stadium.
In Vegas?
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
I got to see Garth Brooks at a private concert on the floor of the Death Star, or whatever it's called. Death Star, is that what it's nicknamed? It's a nice, clean stadium. I think they have a slight design flaw where one of the open like bar areas and stuff is where the sun's setting. And it's in Vegas, so that sunset just blinds you sitting in that area. But outside of that, it's a very clean, pristine.
Cowboy Stadium has the same thing though too. One side, when later in the day the sun's coming glaring into the end zone.
Yeah, but those people are on their last hope anyway, so the sun's probably not even an issue to them. I mean, really, what are they hanging on to as Cowboys fans? A star.
Just
America's team.
A life of mediocrity.
They're hanging on Jerry Jones
of what it used to be.
Not being around much longer.
Yeah, they're hoping that transitions at some point. Like,
not gonna happen. That guy's gonna live forever.
Thank goodness Mark Cuban got that, the basketball team, that whole program lined up, and they had something to enjoy for a little bit.
Well, they just got first pick last night.
Yeah, but that's that Dallas team, they've been through the ringer. So
oh yeah.
My thing's
I feel so bad for them.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. I think my favorite stadium experience, which probably isn't going to hit home here, was Lambeau Field. Like, that's just a wild field to go watch
What's crazy, I'm a Bears fan, and that's one of the stadiums I've never been to is Lambeau.
Yeah.
Just because it's a weird, like, you can only drive there.
Yeah, it's not easy to get to, that's for damn sure.
I will get up there soon.
It's just nothing.
But it is like you go to a night game when it is cooler there. That's a fun environment.
I bet, and as a Bears fan, wearing our gear, it would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, go up there and
but it's not going to be like that Oakland, like, because there's going to be a lot of Bears fans in Lambeau.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of people wearing.
And then like during like the commercial breaks, they'd play like the local rap groups, and at least by like what they call the area where all the guys are in their like stormtrooper outfits and all that, the Black Hole. That area was nice. We got to talk to some of the guys after the game, but like everywhere else, like it was all just a bunch of gangbangers throwing up gang signs, and like it was, I didn't even know it was a sporting event. Like, thank God the Bears didn't win. Thank God they did not win. And they had a chance. This was when Jay Cutler was there, and I think they were winning for a little bit, but thank God they lost.
Yeah, so
because if they would have won,
hang your head, get out of there, and not deal with. Yeah, exactly.
No chance. None.
Jeez.
It was. Yeah.
I'd say the wildest reaction to a sport I've ever seen was, I'm trying to think of the year, but it was when the St. Louis Cardinals and the Rangers maybe went to Game 7 in the World Series. So I'm going to guess that had to be 08, 09, something like that. And, we get to that game, we go in. And when we came out of that game, first of all, I don't know if anybody's just trafficked St. Louis lately, but you don't do it at night and you don't do it alone. So we come out and St. Louis won. Okay. We come out and, oh my God, you couldn't move the cars were just parked in the streets. People were on their cars, like blasting music, partying, like shaking bottles, like shooting off fireworks. Probably the most unsafe I've felt in my life was leaving that stadium.
Oh, wow.
And we weren't in any, it was just to say I went to Game 7 of World Series. I didn't have any colors on for either team. So I looked like an odd person that I had no St. Louis stuff on and I had no Texas stuff on. So we're just walking out of there and it was like, they're like destroying stuff in the streets and things like that. Like I've been to Mardi Gras. Like I've been in some insane crowds. This was the most unsafe after a sporting event I'd felt in my life, was walking out of Game 7 after they won that thing, and the town was just getting rowdy and wrecked, like just crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So the craziest sporting event that I've been biggest, I went to Game 6 Bulls Portland, and I wanted to leave at the end of the third quarter. My buddy convinced me to stay, and I got lucky in these tickets. I had worked at a hot dog stand around the corner from the house, and he was he was a bookie and whatever, had season tickets. So no one wanted to buy the Game 6 tickets because everyone thought I was going to go to Game 7 for some reason. So he sold them to me and my buddy for like $50 each. They were first row, second balcony on a baseline at the old Chicago Stadium. God. And I wanted to leave at the end of the third quarter, and they're down 15. My buddy's like, oh, we're already here. Let's stay. Thank God we stayed. And it wasn't that nuts when we left, though, Chicago. The one I regret, though, was because of the way that things worked out now. So my daughter was born in July of 16. The Cubs went to the World Series, Game 7. I was at Game 5 because I had season tickets. I wanted to go to Game 7. I had a whole bunch of friends that went to Game 7. My wife basically at the time told me, you go, don't ever come home. I should have just took her advice at that point because we'll see where we got now. But yeah, so I didn't get to go to Game 7, and I had a caravan of friends that went to the game. Now she didn't mind me driving an hour or so away to go to a bar and watch the game. So what's a few hours between husband and wife? Stayed away. I was gonna come home drunk either way.
God.
But yeah, that was I knew so many people went to Game 7, and the tickets weren't even that expensive because it was in Cleveland.
Just to check off Game 7, but to check it off for your team would have been a phenomenal experience.
Especially a team that hadn't won in 108 years.
Yeah. Like what? I'm not gonna lie, you messed up, man.
I really did mess up.
I know you're aware of that, but you messed up.
Oh yeah, I messed up.
It's okay.
Sorry, Maddie. That's my daughter, but
we're gonna have to end it on that heartbreak, Mike. Sorry for both of your losses.
That's okay. It's probably time to wrap up anyway.
It is.
Yeah.
If
I'm gonna have any voice left to teach tomorrow, I should probably be a little respectful of it today. I've literally talked from 9 a.m. this morning until 7:30 tonight. Yeah,
hey,
nice.
You're in the zone though, and Reven's over there. She needs to get some sleep. So
yeah, she didn't sleep last night. She was napping when we were talking. Though.
You hold the record now. So for the Roof Trollz, you are the longest. This is the longest podcast we've ever done. 2 hours and 20 minutes, almost 2.5 hours.
Really?
So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so Deshaun's got some work ahead of him if he wants to beat that.
Oh, wow.
So,
It definitely didn't feel that long.
No, especially since 17 minutes of it was actually good.
Yeah, if even that.
The rest of it was low performing or underperforming or whatever you said. So I'm sorry, guys.
And we didn't even have any bourbon for him. If we would have known he had a bourbon collection, we would have had something out. I would have brought something.
The next time we do one, we will definitely have
actually,
bourbon on it.
what's funny is that when I travel, I always stop, especially when I'm driving, to see if they have something I can't get at home. And this area is known for getting E.H. Taylor in, and I can't get it too much in the South. So I did stop, and I thought about bringing something, but I was like, I don't know if that's the vibe of this, so I didn't.
Oh, 100% it's the vibe. Yeah,
whatever.
100%.
And I probably have a couple of bottles at home, so it would have been real easy.
Yeah, it would have been very easy. It's all right. Now we know for next time when we want to go 3 hours, then we'll really bring that up.
Oh, man. All right. Well, if you guys don't follow John on social media, definitely do.
Here's where to find me. Facebook is John Senac, not John Cena. Dun, 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 dun. Different people.
Wouldn't be able to see it anyway.
John Senac. Every other social media platform, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything else is John the Roof Pro. And yes, I have an H in my name because I'm normal.
There you go. And if you guys aren't already following the Roof Trollz Facebook page, you should be. Also, leave us a review if you guys are listening to us on Apple Podcast. And as always, guys, we will see you on the next one.